Hi, and welcome to Thursday with a Friend. My name is Lawrence, and today I have a special guest. And again, I think all my guests are special. I'm really happy to have anyone that's willing to spend some time with me. But as many of you know, I've gone back and I've started doing these classic reviews, and within almost every single one of them, I ask somebody to tell a story. And even before I was doing it, she was making comments, and she's not really involved in any lives. And I don't think she collects much modern stuff, but in almost every single one of these classic reviews that I do, she makes a comment, and not just like, "Hey, great review." She has a story. So many stories about the A Real American Hero line, which I know so many of us grew up, and not the biggest social media presence, at least that I know of. And she made a comment. I'm like, "Hey, can you hit me up? Do you have Instagram, whatever?" And I've always said that this show here is to highlight people that have supported me, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, just in life in general. And I thought this was the perfect one. So anyway, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to introduce my very special, special. You know what? She loves Real American Heroes. She gets 4 special guests. Stephanie Shortcake, thank you very much.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Listen. I'm honored that you said yes.
Mhm.
It's very difficult when you've never talked to anyone, and I was telling you before we started, I kind of had to go backwards and click on your links and see if you've ever done any YouTube, and you did. Probably about 9 years ago, you had a whole bunch of videos, and I've always said, like, I have to talk to a person, not an avatar. And I saw that you showed your face, had a presence on screen, and I'm like, I want to know if you do this. And you were, I'm not gonna say difficult. You have a difficult schedule, but you were the one that said, "Hey, I have a staycation this week of September. I think I can do it." And to me, you said it sounded like you were interested, and that made me really excited. So thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I've been following your channel, I think for like a good 2 or 3 years. And
It was well before I started doing any of the classic reviews.
Mhm.
Um, I think it goes back to doing the O-ring stuff and any of the foreign stuff, because that's what you're really interested in, correct?
That's kind of what I grew up with.
Yeah,
But I think the very first video was, I think you were reviewing the Cobra Soldier from the Walmart Retro edition, the
that
one with
sounds.
the bad legs. You did a review of it, and I think I found your review, and I think you were mentioning that the one of the legs doesn't work.
The okay, so the 2-pack from Hasbro Pulse.
Oh, maybe
The
that's what it
Cobra the
was.
Cobra
Yeah, yeah.
Officer leg doesn't bend
That's
a
what it is.
full 90 degrees, and it was a huge miss in so in so many ways. Yeah, okay, so I guess that makes sense, because, like I said, I, it's hard for me to remember back that that's kind of how I started reviewing stuff. That I had the O-ring stuff, and I was buying the Walmart stuff, and then they started doing some more O-ring stuff. So, but you've been there the whole time, and every time that I've made a comment or made a post, you've almost made a comment on every single one, which I definitely appreciate. But it's different to see, like I said, someone to say, "Oh, hey, great job," or someone actually have something to add to it, and you don't get that too often, believe it or not.
I guess it's because I don't really, there's not a lot of people I talk to about G.I. Joe. I don't belong to any clubs, or I don't go to Joe Fest or anything like that. And for, I don't know, a good 20 years at least, I kind of put that out of my, I wasn't really a collector or anything. So,
And that's another really interesting thing. Not only are there not a lot of girls in this sphere, and I don't mean not collecting toys, but GI Joe, you're just so active in having stories, and you could tell that it goes back to your childhood.
mhm.
So, uh, I know not to ask this of women, but do you mind giving me an age range that you're in? If you want to tell your age, you can. I won't ask.
I'll hold up a hand and I'll show you.
5? Wow, wow.
Yep.
Okay. It's just I've said this before. Like I will never ask a girl if she's pregnant. I don't unless if she tells me she could be spitting that baby out, and I'm still not going to say, "Oh, you're pregnant." Nope, I won't do that. So I've learned the age. I've actually had people kind of yell at me about it. I'm like, we're talking about toys. Like I'm not asking you out on a date. Um, all right, so you're in our sphere of the age. You know what? Let's ahead of the chat really quick. So quickly, we got same time toys. We have Crusty Coach jumping in. We have my moderator, Ashley jumping in with his before this, I was with Olivia at her National Honor Society awards or whatever, and I wanted to yell this because it would have fit so appropriate. But I'm very proud, very proud. Cobra Slug is here. We have Rowdy Riles in the house. U.S. Combat Dojo E Worthy. We have Izzy Tevi. We have 6'10" Yojo Daddy Machine Man. Plastic Skulls is here. We have Action Figure sold separately. He's the one that does a lot of the backgrounds that I have. Check out his stuff if you haven't on Instagram. And then we have Maria Kalfa DePaul saying, "Hey Stephanie, do you know this? Do you know
I know
her?"
her from another Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm like, this doesn't look like my normal, but glad to have you here. We have 3-star draw. MTC is joining us. Viper Scout, who probably is the only other person that throws as much knowledge about the O-ring line as you do. Donna Zelovanensky.
That's my sibling.
Okay. I think, did
Yep.
we just give up your last name? Damn it, Donna. And then we have a Todd C is here. Okay. And I do apologize. I got new glasses and I said I don't want the bifocals. And I instantly put them on and went, oh my gosh, I should have gotten the bifocals because my eyes have gotten that bad. All right.
These are new too. Within the last year, I got progressives for the first time. And usually I don't use them for computer work. So everything's kind of worked. It's weird.
Yeah, the progressive bifocals. That's what I had.
Okay.
And I literally just got these today.
Oh.
And I put them on and I went, it felt like the first time I put glasses. I didn't put glasses on until I was 39 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's how I felt today. And I instantly realized how bad the eyes are. So we'll see if I have to go back to my old ones till next year. And when I go back and go, all right, I was wrong. It's a huge mistake, an expensive one too. All right. So you are in our age range.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming 75 would be the year you were born.
Close.
74.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was born right at the okay, you must have a birthday coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna ask the age, and I'm like, okay. So as a kid, what was your family life like? Did you have siblings? Obviously, you have at least a sibling. Did you have siblings that you played with? Were your parents together? Like, what was your family life like, and where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Brooklyn, and my family's it's Italian Brooklyn family, so everyone's very tight knit. You know, we do the Italian dinners on Sunday. Typical New York stuff. And my sister and I we didn't really. She was a little older than me, so we didn't really play together. But growing up in Brooklyn was a lot of hanging out on the street. So wasn't a lot of like today kids are indoors mostly, but it was kind of expected. You're hanging out on the street somewhere. So about 3 years old, like I was out on the street, in front of the house somewhere or down the block.
No, I don't know. Your sister's in here. Are you
Yeah.
really Italian? Because I've not seen your hands go at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have not seen your hands. This is the Italian side of me for sure.
Yep. I'm part Italian, yeah.
Which I didn't even realize it till later on in life. And I'm like, I don't use my hands that much. And this girl was like, yeah, you do. That's when you start noticing it. All right. So you said your sister was a little bit older than you. So you didn't have a built-in play friend.
No.
But you probably grew up in an area where there was a whole bunch of people
A lot of
out
kids
and
on the
about.
block all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
Which was, again, it's kind of crazy. I watch a lot of unsolved mysteries, cold cases, and I don't think the world was any better back then. We just didn't know about it.
Yep.
So again, I'm your age. We were out on the streets, like you said, all the time. So what was the first toys you can remember actually playing with? Not what you fell in love with, but what's the first toys you remember? And I usually tell people, I feel like our age, so many people say little people, or Hot Wheels, stuff like the Connects. So people have thrown out Connects. I never had Connects, but I know what they are.
It was funny because I was just talking with my coworker in the past couple of weeks. We were saying like, well, what toys did you grow up with? Because he's a little older, so he grew up with like Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. He also had Transformers. He knew about GI Joe. Like that was like the perfect age if you grew up like in the late '80s. You know, you had everything.
Yeah.
But I think in our age group, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot. Like my early toys was definitely I had the Sesame Street set of Little People.
Okay.
And not a whole lot. I was more into building things. So I had a lot of building sets like Lincoln Logs. I had a set called Girders and Ladders. Um,
What?
Girders and Ladders. It's I think Girders and Panels. That's what it's called. It's like you can make buildings with these like little pegs that you snap together.
Ed, where's my moderator? Ed, he's the one who knows all this stuff. I've
Girders
never.
and Panels. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like something we need today.
I wish.
I thought making Lincoln Logs for like using the Lincoln Logs that my kids had for a ninja set would be
Mm-hmm.
awesome, and it was, until you realize you need a lot more Lincoln Logs than you have, especially for 6-inch figures.
Mm-hmm.
It takes up a lot of space.
Yep.
um,
Capsella was another big toy I had.
what was it?
Capsella, do you remember that one? A building toy? It's like
No.
these clear cube spheres that would like connect. Almost like I don't know, like it's hard to explain really. It's like translucent little plastic cubes.
Matthew is sending me an Etsy of girder. Oh my god, I've never even seen that. So
It's
my,
pretty
my
old.
moderator
It's
just
pretty
sent me
old.
what the girder and panels, a bridge and a highway. I've
Hmm.
never even seen that.
I had just the regular building and had an elevator that you would put in it. But the scale was pretty good. So if you had, which I don't think I had too many toys. We were pretty poor growing up, so I didn't have a whole lot. It wasn't until like, you know, by the mid 80s is when I think we had more money for things like that.
All right,
So, you know, like stuffed animals was really big growing up.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
I had a Cabbage Patch. Yeah, of course. Who didn't? I mean, and then I got into video games really early. So I had like one of those Pong machines with the two knobs.
Okay,
So that was really, and I had a Tomy pinball machine,
I can't. I
which
remember those.
mhm.
So so as you're growing up, all right. So what was like the first toys you fell in love with?
I think probably Masters of the Universe. I think
Okay,
for me, a lot of this was tied to cartoons.
all right.
So, you know, what was the cartoons of the time? Like, you know, when we were growing up, it was like Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby Doo, Looney
Smurfs.
Tunes. Which one?
Smurfs.
Smurfs? Yeah, I had some Smurfs. But they didn't have a lot of toy lines based on like, here's the toy and here's the cartoon to sell the toy. I don't remember a whole lot. There were some, but
No, you're absolutely correct. Like there was a lot of Smurfs, but they were just,
Smurfs.
they were just little figures. Like they didn't
A little
articulate.
boring. Yeah.
And like they weren't really Flintstones or Jetsons. I'm sure someone's gonna come in and be like, they had this, but I think I think people get the gist.
Mm-hmm.
It was the boys' toys. Um, basically it's like here's a half-hour commercial. Go buy her toys.
Mm-hmm.
So Masters of the Universe. Now, was it the cartoon that you think like?
It was definitely the cartoon because I was into monsters at the time. I always liked robots and monsters. So I must have. I don't remember like how it started, but I must have watched the cartoon and just fell in love with the creatures on it.
So what was about monsters and robots that you gravitated to? Because again, like, don't take this the wrong way.
Uh
Most
huh.
girls are into, their Barbies and strawberry shortcake and even Gem at that age. What
Hmm.
was it about monsters and robots and He-Man and
Well, I was an artist too. Well, I don't know, but I used to like to draw a lot. I doodled a lot. So like you like when I was like 3, I would watch Tom and Jerry, and I would sometimes doodle the cartoon. I would watch the cartoon and then doodle it. So I was always into like just making sketches of things, and I don't know why I gravitated towards monsters, but I liked I liked the action. I think some of it's also the good versus evil kind of thing.
okay.
I kind of find fun,
I love good.
which
I love good
you
versus
know
evil.
when you with Barbie, and Barbie's a whole nother story, but there's no like there's no good versus evil. There's no conflict, right? With Barbie.
Yeah,
At
and,
least I
and
mean in my world, I couldn't think of like conflict with that.
until you become an adult and you realize that
Yeah,
that a man and a woman don't always get along.
right.
There's a lot of good versus evil and a lot of conflict. um, all right, so Masters of the Universe. Now, did you start buying these toys? Now, as a kid, like, did you ask for them?
I don't remember how that started, but I didn't have money to buy toys much, so I would get just for Christmas, get a lot of figures.
Okay, and what like were you getting all kinds, or was it? Because again, you're always commenting on my GI Joe stuff, so I know you've had
Hmm.
GI Joe stuff or you have stories, but you went right to Master of the Universe, which I'm gonna honestly kind of shocked me.
I think I had the Mego figures. I might have had like a Spider. I liked Spider-Man growing up.
Okay,
So like back when that was like 77 maybe. I
you
think I had
mean
a
you
was that?
mean this?
Um
Spider-Man 77.
sort of. The
That's
one I
that's a
had,
Spider.
I think.
Well, yeah, but that's from the Spider-Man 77 movie. I just have them.
Is it really?
It is. I didn't cancel them.
That's funny.
He's just sitting over there. um, I remember all those, and again, especially like I had this big Hulk, and I took him out. Um, my backyard, right to the baseball diamonds in the fields, and I was out there playing with them, and I dug a little ditch, and I put him in there, and I ran home, and I came back, and someone had stole him. It was devastating. It was devastating. He's the only other Hulk I've ever had. Um, all right, so like, I lost my train of thought. Um, so yeah, it's just all these little figures like
Hmm.
GI Joe. What about Transformers, GoBots, anything like that?
I had a toy line called, I think I started with converters, they were called. It's
I
just
though okay,
a little
those
obscure. Yeah.
those were the really cheap ones that you got at like Perry Drugs, if I am
It,
correct.
it's funny you say that because I had a couple of those, and when Transformers came out, I was like, "Oh, Transformers is stupid. I have these converters, which I liked a lot." And I'm like, "Why would I ever want to get Transformers for? These are like the best robots." And then the cartoon came out, and I remember the cartoon was airing on TV. It was like after school or something, but I was hanging out with friends, and I was like, "Oh, I want to check this cartoon out." And I went home to watch it. And it was like the intro, like the first series, and the voices on it just blew my mind. How good the voice, like they sounded like weird robots, and I just fell in love with Transformers like instantly. I had to
I
collect that toy line,
I
but
still
that
think
was after Masters of the Universe, though.
yeah, I still think like of all those, I'm gonna say boy cartoons, GI Joe, Mask, Transformers, He Man. I still think that Transformers is the best of them all. It's still they're just robots that turn into cars and planes,
Hmm.
right? Like you can't go wrong. That's why I always say like Transformers are gonna be around forever. Because how hard is it to convince a kid to buy? Hey, it's a robot and it's a fucking car that it turns into. Like
Right.
it's not that hard, right?
Hmm.
um. All right, so yeah, if you're into robots, you must like Transformers. I didn't even really think. And what about monsters? What kind of other monsters?
Um, I used to watch the Godzilla movies.
Yes, every Saturday and Sunday it seemed.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. Or on holidays, yeah.
Yeah, when you were always getting that stuff.
But
Odd
I
and
would definitely lean more towards robots, like because I liked video games so much, like just
okay.
and I liked electronics and robots kind of felt like that fit the need for what I liked.
So we got Odd and Untold. I know I've never seen this name, Matthew. I swear, if you come back and say that, hey,
Oh,
all right. So this is one of your people, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I know who that is. Yeah, he's got a really good YouTube channel. Talks
Okay.
about UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff. Yeah.
Oh man. See,
Hmm.
where the hell is my moderator Ed? Because he's all into Bigfoot. So most of my Transformers as a kid were knockoffs from the local drugstore. Grimlock had a horn on his nose and was brown.
Hmm.
I want to see this now. um, yeah, the drugstore ones were like. I was recently talking about like my grandmother. My grandfather was paralyzed. He was paraplegic. So when he was eventually like bedridden, in the back, my grandmother would buy little toys. So every time that we went there, we had to go all the way in the back, so we'd have to go buy them. And she'd always buy lock blocks. Now, lock blocks were like Legos, except for much bigger scale and cheaper. Like the knockoff Legos, you can combine them. You were never gonna combine a lock block and a Lego.
Was that like a Duplo, like those jumbo bricks?
Yeah, but it wasn't part of Duplo. I
Okay.
would say Duplo was a step above lock blocks. You could only do so much because the blocks were they were meant for little kids. But it was something that when your grandmother bought stuff and
Hey, you're
they
just
were
happy to
always
have a
out
toy.
of
It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was her way to get us to go back there, and say hi to our grandfather, and because obviously he couldn't get up, and when you're little, when someone is so loud, that's how he had to communicate. You're kind of scared of them. You don't fully understand the situation, so. Um, but yeah, I think they were like the drugstore the drugstore Lego. All right. So as you like going through middle school or going through elementary school, you're collecting and playing with these toys. I don't say collecting. When you get into middle school, what are you doing? Are you still like playing with toys? Do you still have some?
I was one of those weirdos that still played with toys and would bring them to school and get teased and abused from the classmates because it was kind of it wasn't really cool to really play with toys.
No, in
So
middle school, it's a hidden thing. It seems like it until now. You look back and you're like, oh, we were all doing it. We were all still playing with them. We just all kept it hidden. Some of us had like little brothers or sisters that we could blame it on them if someone ever caught us. Um, I didn't, so. But you were still taking them to school, and
I would yeah, I think I learned my lesson once because I brought in, I think it was the Crimson Guard, maybe the red, the
yep.
first Crimson Guard, and I think I brought it to school to show one of the kids in my class, and I think I don't know what he said, but he took it, and I think he was kind of like, it was one of those things where, like, when they take your hat and they throw it to someone else and
Yep.
kind of that thing, so they kept
Keep
doing
away.
that. Yeah. They wouldn't give it back to me, but eventually they did. So I was like, hey, I'm not bringing toys to school anymore.
So at this point, you're actually collecting or playing with GI Joe stuff.
Yeah, so that I got into GI Joe kind of late because the early GI Joe stuff to me was very military, very army, the green fatigues, like that wave one kind of stuff. And it just didn't really had nothing of interest for me. And it wasn't until I think I commented on your video about it. I think it was Blowtorch when I saw him in the store. And
Okay.
that colorful figure, I was like, that thing looks really cool, and I wanted to buy it. And I convinced somehow my mom to buy it at a Genovese drugstore, if anyone remembers that in my
A what?
area. Genovese drugstore. There was
Never.
it was a chain in the east, up northeast.
Never heard of Genevieve.
Long gone, long gone.
They
Eh,
all are.
they all are. Yeah, tell me.
There's CVS and Walgreens left, at least here. That's
That's
all we
it.
have left.
Yep. Same.
Um, Okay, so it was Blowtorch was like your first GI Joe,
That I can remember. Yeah.
and that's what series I think 3. But
Okay.
I think it might be 4. But either way,
It's 85, right?
here
85.
comes here comes our buddy War Crimes. That's right. That's what his name should have been.
Just melting people.
Using a flamethrower is now a war crime. um, or as they say, it's not a war crime the first time.
Yeah, but so let me ask you: when you played with Blowtorch, did you have him pretend to like burn people alive? Like, how did you play with him?
I don't know. I can't imagine that I would not have. I mean, we were pretty dark.
I don't know if I went that way.
We were pretty dark. I mean, you would have them get burnt, I'm sure. But yeah. Viper Scout says he should have been Canadian. But yeah, so yeah, war crime there. That's what he's affectionately been labeled. I mean, I think someone actually told me that I should have used that one as the thumbnail, and I think I went back and changed it to say war crime. I think that's the thumbnail actually. So that's kind of what got you into it. The red and the yellow and the green gun, but not like army green gun. It was.
Yeah, it was like flashy on the shelf and it looked kind of fun. The picture, I mean, the art on the package was great.
Oh yeah, their art was always so great. So what figures after that did you like? Did you kind of transition into that, or were you still heavily into other stuff?
So I think I was done with He-Man. I forget the crossover. Once She-Ra came out, I didn't like the cartoon as much, and I didn't like the girls' characters. Like their faces were pretty bad.
So you agree that She-Ra killed He-Man?
I do. I like the character ideas were really good, but the cartoon was not good, and not like the He-Man cartoon was that great. No, I go back to it. I can really.
It's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
So bad to watch now.
It's bad.
It's one of those where I tried having my kids watch, and I remember my son going, "I can't watch this, Dad. This is so bad." And it was like probably the first time I was like, "Yeah, I don't blame you. You can get out of here." It's like it still means something to us. But like when you're watching it, you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like that's why I look at Transformers. I'm like, I don't remember Transformers being that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. It's not great either, but it's not.
I didn't say it was great.
It has its flaws.
Yes,
but I think when you look in the big picture of like a lot of that Sunbow stuff, we were kind of lucky because like they don't really make cartoons like that anymore. For like they got away with a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, no, there was so much stuff. Again, somehow they found a way to make in G.I. Joe people be able to parachute out of helicopters when it gets blown up.
Yeah,
I'm like there'd just be a red mist. All right, all right. We'd all be wishing for a goose death if that happened.
It's funny because I never even thought about that stuff back then. I was like, of course they can inject in time. Why not? If it explodes up.
I did. I do remember seeing that, but I also remember watching the A-Team, wondering why no one ever died, and my dad laughing about it. That there was one episode where some guy dies, and it's because he gets sucked out of the airplane, and it wasn't even due to the A-Team. Yeah, he gets sucked out. It's one episode. It's the only time I can remember someone dying.
Wasn't there an episode where like Hannibal was really sick or face got shot or something? It was like a two-parter.
There was the one where Murdoch gets shot, and that's when you see how much BA actually cares about him.
Yes,
he does.
They do flashbacks, right?
yes, the Vietnam flash. It'll make me go down that road because I'll start remembering flashbacks of A-Team, like you shouldn't. And don't get me started on 90210 because that would be a whole nother hour block right there.
I know nothing about that one, so that's all you.
I know way too much, so I'm glad we don't have to go down that. So when did you get into video games? Like you go into middle school. You take a Crimson Guard to school. It's keep away from Steph. You say never again am I bringing this here.
Never again.
Learn my lesson. All right, G.I. Joe, not for school.
Breaking
anymore.
My toys. So yeah, I think I got an Atari in like 1978,
Okay.
1979 maybe. You know, it's hard to say. But I mean, once I got video games, I mean, that's kind of all I ever did. I played Atari a lot, and then I got ColecoVision soon after. And then I got my first computer, which was an Atari computer. And that was probably 83. So but a little before I was collecting GI Joe. And then I was programming my own games and stuff like that at that point. I used to spend hours and hours just
Uh,
coding.
so, so what you're telling me quickly is this.
Oh yeah. Oh, it gets better. Just wait till if you stick around for an hour, this is gonna get better.
But it's interesting because again, like so many people, so many girls would be scared to like the path that you're explaining, like you're into GI Joe and Transformers, and then you become a video. Like nowadays, it's not a big deal, but back when we were growing up, like you didn't see that. And if someone did, like if somebody was acting, if there was a girl that was interested, you thought like, what was wrong with her? Like what's wrong with her? Why does she want to play with GI Joe? Why doesn't she? Or first off, you're like, why does a girl want to play with us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, God forbid a girl played GI Joe. They have cooties. um, so you were starting to program video
Little
games.
like simple. I would take a notebook. I would write. I in basic code, simple basic. I
Either
would write like choose your own adventure games until I learned like how to make graphics and stuff. And then what I would do a lot was like magazines at the time would sell um games that you had to type in the code. Like they would
okay.
give you, and then you type it in, you save it, and you have your game. So I would take that code and alter it to make my own game, like kind of hack it a bit. And I would just do that. And I had like my own company, like, but it was just a a fake,
Yeah.
something, an 8-year-old would do.
No,
But
that's not something an 8-year-old does. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, yeah, we all kind of create our. No, a lot of they have their lemonade stand or whatever, but to try and like code your own game, and again, like you can say, oh well, they were made to. That's not something that a lot of 8-year-olds do.
hmm
I'm like,
I didn't know anyone who did it. No. Mm-mm.
no, it's no, because you were by yourself. Because
Yeah. I didn't have a lot of friends.
just my imaginary friends here. Which hey, there's nothing wrong with because I had one too. I had one that I had to put in the trunk. Literally, I made my parents open up the trunk every time that we went out to the car and get out. And it was John Baker from Chips, even though I like. Shit. All right, so middle school, you're into video games. By middle school, Nintendo's out by middle school. 86.
I got the Nintendo in 85.
Okay, was it 85 or 86? You would know better than me.
Well, so it came out nationwide 86, but they test marketed in 85 in New York. So I got the
Oh,
first one. Yeah.
wow,
hmm
naughty Don, Miss Stephanie here.
So the downside to that was there was no games to buy because it wasn't officially released. There was only like like 6 games maybe for the first year, and that's it.
Now, was it Nintendo or was it the Famicom? Was that what it's
It
called?
was Nintendo. Yeah, the
Okay,
Famicom I think was released in 83 in Japan. It's even
yeah.
older.
So when the games came out, you were able. Those games worked with that system.
Just Nintendo, not Famicom.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nintendo. Yeah. Isn't that crazy to think that 40 years ago they were doing testing of a video game system like in one market. Like they would never do that today.
No,
It's just
right?
like nationwide. But I mean, just to think about that's crazy to think that like you're in New York, hey, we're gonna test it here because of the population is so large and whatever. And now what you said you didn't get a lot of stuff. But how were you able to get the Nintendo? Because that must have been pretty expensive coming. Like when it first
I
started.
think by the mid 80s, my dad was doing okay with his
Okay.
job. I didn't really, when you're a kid, you don't even think about that stuff. You just see presents under the tree and you're like, oh, this is great. But like during the year, I didn't get anything. So it was like birthday, maybe you get something, and then Christmas was a lot of gifts, at least for me.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of it. Maybe for Easter, you get like a small little, something.
Now, as a spoiled child, I was taught you don't get stuff for Easter other than like an Easter basket, and it still drives me nuts that my ex, she would still get stuff for our kids. I'm like, you don't get stuff for Easter. Not to mention our kids got everything they wanted anyway.
Well, it's the rabbit who brings it, so
That's
technically,
true. It's a rabbit.
yeah.
Because nothing says Jesus died and came back alive like a rabbit and 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 eggs.
Hmm.
Talk about how many things don't make sense together.
Yep.
um, all right. So as you're going through middle school, you're into your video games, and you're still playing with toys, or you're starting to collect. You're keeping it from people.
You know, I think play is like a tricky word because I never sat there with like the armies, like I don't have one near me, but the two soldiers like battling or anything.
Okay.
I think what I used to do mostly was just like sort of set up displays, like little dioramas.
So you were doing dioramas well before you were an adult and realized that's what you were doing.
Yeah, I would spend like an hour or two just setting up, like if I had like a plastic tree or something, some
Yeah.
guys in a tree, and then like I was very big with making things. So I would take cardboard boxes, cut, holes in it, like make it look like a fort. And I would just kind of position everything and then look at it and I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. And then just like put everything in a box and put it away.
No, I've talked about that. Like I would spend a day. I'd spend 6 7 hours building a base for
Hmm.
GI Joe or Cobra, and then you spend a half hour destroying it.
Yeah.
So like it's like we were doing dioramas before we knew what it was, and it kind of sucks that we didn't have cameras to just take pictures.
Hmm.
And I mean it's good because like when I skateboard, I tell the younger guys, I go, I could tell you I did anything, and there's no video proof to say, you can't say, why don't you have it on your phone? Well, we didn't have that type of stuff. So as you're obviously getting into video games, when you go into high school, how is your transitioning? Are you still collecting stuff?
I wasn't, well, I guess that's like 87. I was when I was like 86, and like my family was kind of like, it's time to put the toys away kind of thing. Like maybe getting a little too old for
Isn't
this.
that so weird? Like I've heard there's been numerous people on the show that have said the same thing, that their parents are like, It's time to put the toys away." It
I, I,
seems so
yeah.
foreign. Like, why? Like, you're young one time.
Yeah, my dad didn't like me playing with GI Joe. If I
Really?
showed it to him, he was just like, he would take the figures and just kind of like throw them to get out. Like he wasn't into it.
Wow.
But
Was it because it was a boy toy?
no, I think it was just, I don't know. I have no idea.
Hey, there's a lot of things our parents did that we go, I don't know why. They just did.
Hmm.
And my kids will say the same thing about me. I don't know why he did that. Other than my daughter. My daughter will go, you have to meet him. So when you're going into high school, what are you doing? Are you still playing video games?
Video games was really big. So a story with that is I was very hardcore into Nintendo games. Like I would really play them basically any minute I had. I was playing Nintendo. So I was kind of, what I would do is I would call the companies that made the games and I would try to have conversations with the people who work there to find out like secrets about the games and just talk, about gaming. And I'd be like, how old was I? Like 10 years old. So I don't know how it happened, but I kind of developed a relationship with some of these companies, and they would send me stuff like just printouts of things or newsletters. And so I don't know how it happened, but the local news got wind of it somehow in like 1989, I think it was. And they said, hey, we're doing a special. I think it was like Super Mario 2 or 3 was coming out. We're doing a promotion about the popularity of Nintendo. And we got your name from Nintendo, and we want to know if you want to. We heard like you're the best in New York. Like you're supposed to be like the wizard of Nintendo. So like, do you want to be on a segment? So I was like, I guess. I don't know. Do I?
No,
So
I mean, you're talking, you're a 14-year-old kid.
yeah. Yeah, 89. Yep.
Yeah, 13, 14, depending on what.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they came and they uh they interviewed me and my parents, and that was at a time where there's no social media, so I
Yeah,
didn't tell anyone about it or anything. And then the segment aired on TV, about this local Nintendo wizard, and I started getting phone calls from people and stuff. But that was my freshman year of high school, and let me tell you, if you want to talk about nerd, like that was about the worst possible thing you could possibly do. I got teased so bad that I made like zero friends that year. It was bad.
could you imagine that today?
Uh-huh.
Could you imagine a freshman who
Hmm.
is not again like not doing YouTube, but that Nintendo or Sony is contacting Microsoft to talk to you about this stuff in your broadcast? There's like you wouldn't. Yeah, you would be picked on by some people, but you would be like one of the cool nerds.
Yeah, right.
Now that's a total oxymoron, but so okay.
It was a different attitude back then to play with toys
Oh,
or video games. It just wasn't like you said, like some, kids did it, but they did it in private. Like you didn't
hey,
tell anyone you were doing that.
again, I was a skateboarder and we were already at the bottom of the barrel, right? And then I graduate and then X Games comes and next thing you know, there's this thing called Tony Hawk Pro Skater and all of a sudden skateboarding's cool again.
That was a good game. That's one of my favorite games. Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah.
don't even get me started on that game.
Okay.
Those first two games I remember watching and going or playing them and going like, if anyone could ever do this. And then here we are, fast forward 20 years, and people are doing grinds and tricks like that, and you're like, no way. So okay,
So
I
back
gotta
to the
go.
toys, right?
Well, no, I gotta go back to this whole video game thing. So
Mm-hmm.
you're like 10 years old. What makes you? Okay, first off, what makes you think, hey, I can contact a company, or what gives you the courage to contact a company to try and get a hold of somebody? Now, again, you're 10, 11 years old, so you don't know, right? And I tell kids that are skateboarding that are like 11, 12 that are doing amazing things, they don't know what they don't know. Is that kind of what it was? Like you just see a number on the back of the box and you're calling and
Right. It's an 800 number. Of course I'm going to call it. Let me see
and
what happens. And then,
what'd your parents say? Or do they even know?
they didn't know. No. I don't think they would even care so much because it's not like,
They're not paying for it.
right. Yeah. Well, there were times where it was a because it was long distance calls you had to pay for. And I would have to get permission. I'm like, I'll keep it short. I'm calling Washington. I don't know where that is, somewhere, California. And I'll keep it short. And I would do that. Yeah.
I'm so like this is like amazing. Like again, you are that kid. You're that kid that people hear about.
The
And I
super nerd.
and people I want you I had no idea about that. All I knew is that I knew you did stuff with video games by just when I watched your YouTube videos. But that was again going back 9 years. I don't think you've uploaded video in like 9 years.
No, we did mostly audio after that. Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so like that's all that I had seen. So I knew you were into video games, but I didn't know how much. And even with Pac-Man behind you, it doesn't tell the story, obviously. All right. So you said you obviously have a hard time making friends because of this, which is such a different world. Did this continue? Like, did you continue to get stuff? Did it do anything for you? I don't really want to say financially, but maybe it did do something financially, but did it do anything in that community?
Well, here's the thing with Nintendo. They don't like to pay you for anything. So after that appearance, they called me for an interview in Newsweek magazine because they were doing also another special on like the rise of video games and Nintendo, and I think Mike Tyson Punch Out was coming out or something. And they're like, would you like to be? It wasn't more an interview, but more like a photo shoot like we need some kids to play Nintendo, and I think the Power Pad was coming out or something, and we need to like we know you're into Nintendo, maybe you can do it, get some friends and do that. So I was like, sure, I'll do it, and we did that for them, and then got no compensation, nothing, not a poster, not a letter, nothing. So that I know, and
No
then
game, like no like. I mean,
nothing,
I'm
right?
not totally shocked, but
So the next time they called again and they, hey, I don't know, it was a talk show, and I think it was a local, like Dick Cavett or something. It was one of those old timer talk show guys. And they're like, hey, we need you to go on. Well, I need you. We would like you to go on this show as a guest and talk about Nintendo. And, we have the new games coming out. Would you like to be a guest on our show? And I was like, well, I was thinking like, man, if I do this, I'm really like, that's just the kiss of death at school. Like they're gonna really abuse me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking I didn't get paid yet. I was like, I would do it, but like, what's in it for me? I told them. I was like, do I get any compensation? And they were like, well, we're gonna have to get back to you on that. And then I was like, okay, hung up. They never got back to me. Never heard from them again after that.
and see again, that's not like today. Like today, it could be like if someone reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to have you on. Good Morning America to talk about your YouTube channel." Like
Yeah.
that's for a promotion for me. Like, okay, hey, I may not be getting paid, but who knows where that's going to, lead me and people to watch my show. Where you're a kid and you're like, wait a minute, I just want to make a friend in high school,
Yeah.
and you guys don't
Right.
even want to give me like a free game or anything. It's not fully shocking because I think Hasbro still kind of operates that way, um, which is pretty awful. It's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people get reviews and then they have to ship the figures back.
Oh wow. Huh. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, I've seen Robo talk about it where he'll get some and he can't show certain aspects of it because it still has like a number on it or whatever, the code, and he has to ship it back. I'd be like, no, thank you. That's if you can't even give me a $50 or $60
Mm-hmm.
product to review for you, I don't think this. I don't need this in my life.
Exactly. Yep.
So, as you're going through high school, do things start to get better?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because then I kind of, everyone changes. So,
Yeah.
I had to go find myself a little bit. I go through some teenage phases. So then I started to, I joined a hacker group for a while. So I was, because we took a computer class, and the one of the kids in the class saw like I was like pretty much a genius at computers, and he was like, hey, we got this group, and we do hacking and all this like kind of illegal stuff. And he goes, you got to join this club. And I didn't have any friends. I had like one or two friends, but that wasn't in the school. So I was like, okay, I got nothing else going on, right? So we hung out, and I kind of got involved with that crowd, and it didn't last too long though, because it was kind of going down a bad path. So I met another friend in school who I don't know. It's hard. It's a long story, but I don't know what he saw in me, but he said, "Hey, I have this band," and you know, he said, "We play in this band, and we need a keyboardist." And he goes, "Would you like to play?" And I was like, "I don't play keyboards." And he's like, so he goes, "Why don't you just hang out?" And I was like, "All right, I'll hang out and watch you play." So we went over it, and because we were practicing in their drummer's basement, and we hung out once, and then he's like, "Okay, I can't sing and play keyboard, so I want you to play this." And I was like, "Well, I don't know anything about keyboards." So he goes, "I'm going to show you. Here, press these keys. Listen to the melody and just press these keys." I was like, "Okay, like I can do that, I guess." And I did it, and then that was like the gateway to getting into music. And then I had to learn. I went for piano lessons after that because it was so much fun. I was like, they're like, "You want to join the band?" I was like, "Sure, let's, I'll do it." It was like we were becoming friends at that point. And then I went into like more of the art community at that
So,
point.
so this, were you like 15, 16 at the time?
I think it was like 14. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like 14. So That was like 36 years ago. You do know that he was hitting on you, right? Like you figured that out over
No,
the.
no, it wasn't like that.
Oh,
No, because
do you want to come over play keyboard? I don't
trust
want to just come on. Come on, like I mean, people, come on. Seriously, was he not? I mean, don't
no,
get me
no,
wrong. I know back in the day,
because
we'd punch each other. Like
I still know him today, and I know his brother too, and it wasn't like that.
that's because he's
So a
like,
lot
if
of
he
people
hasn't
thought that.
figured it out yet that I was hitting on her 36 years ago, I'm not going to say it now.
No,
I want you to ask him. I want you to be like, hey, when you asked me, were you?
I think we did at some point. Yeah, I think that conversation did come up because I
I
was
would
friends
think.
with his now wife, so we used to talk a lot too. We were all good
And I'm
friends.
not saying he's still trying to. I'm just saying, like,
Well,
he was definitely.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So Matthew says not everyone is sleazy.
yeah.
Um, that's not even sleazy. Hey, you're inviting someone over. Like, come on.
I
Anyway.
will agree that I'm very naive about stuff like that. So you're kind of not too far off, but
All right. So then you end up joining a band, playing the keyboards, which you
yeah.
don't know how to.
And then I think at that point, I played video games a little less, and then toys I just didn't have time for anymore because it was like high school, and then piano lessons and playing practice in the band, writing music, playing video games, and then
Well, what kind of
toys
band
were.
was it? What kind of music was it?
It was. I mean, at the time, like we called it like alternative. It was like
Okay.
goth rock kind of stuff.
So now, did you get into Super Nintendo? Or
So I had a part-time job, or really almost full-time, where I worked at a game store, and I worked there for like 8 years in the 90s. So I had the Sega Genesis, and then they chipped in because I didn't have a Super Nintendo when it came out. So they chipped in and bought it for me for Christmas because they're like, you have to have a Super Nintendo. So because I was like, I don't really want to spend the money on it. And then they chipped in and gave it to me, and I think they gave me like Final Fantasy or something with it, which I ended up returning. So
oh, oh, you're one of them.
I gave it. I was like, Final Fantasy. Yeah, okay. And I got home and I was like, I'd rather have Contra. Can I have that one?
Was Contra for Super Nintendo?
Yeah, Super or Contra 3, I think it was.
Oh, okay, okay.
So they're like, okay, yeah, we thought you would like Final Fantasy better.
I mean, it does feel like. I mean, everything that you've told us so far, it seems like that's the type of game you would be interested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're like, I like GI Joe, and Contra's kind of like.
Exactly, right. Mm-hmm. That's the closest I'm ever gonna get in 1992, whenever that was. Well, I guess there was the NES games too.
So you sound like you're pretty intelligent.
Yeah, I can pretend. Sure.
Okay. You're hacking stuff. I mean, again, you sound like you're pretty intelligent. So I
Yeah.
assume you graduated high school.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to say that because I once made the mistake and I felt like an idiot. Like, oh, okay.
Well, sometimes smart people don't because it's just too above them, and it's almost too easy. Not almost to the point where
Yeah.
it's too easy, where they just like disconnect. They become disengaged and they just don't do good and they just drop out. Hmm.
So did you go on to college or did you just stay in the workforce? Because you
I
said you
went.
were
I went to college. Yeah.
okay. So how
Mm.
do you manage that? Like you said you were working. I'm assuming if you said you worked there like 8 years, you were working
Mm-hmm.
while going to college.
Yeah. I started working at 17 and never stopped.
Okay.
So I went to college and worked. I did night classes sometimes. I went 3 years of computer science, and then I wanted to learn video games, but there were no colleges. Like the college I went to for programming, they didn't offer, like it wasn't a thing back then,
Yeah.
especially in my area. So, and I didn't really know like how do you learn how to program video games? I don't know. Like is it self-taught? There was just no info. So at some point I didn't feel like I was getting a good education. So, I kind of dropped out for 6 months and just to find myself. And I was like, well, why am I wasting money learning computers? Because a lot of people said, well, the computer field is very male dominated, and it's a lot of they didn't think it was a good career path for me. And I was kind of a creative person too. So I was really into making music, and they said, well, that's not really a career, what are you gonna do? So then that's why a couple of my friends recommended going to art school. So I did that to get into graphic design.
Now, were you doing
So I
art
did
your
that.
whole like I said you said you were like not scribbling, but you were doing
Doodling.
little doodling, okay, when you
Yep.
were young.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up with my best friend growing up. He was an amazing artist, and that's what he went on to do. Another friend of mine, he did all kinds of art, and he said that he's had like instructors that have said like anyone can learn to be a good artist, and I'm like I disagree. Like you can learn to be better, but you either have the talent or you don't, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know I don't. So do you just have like just that eye, that artistic eye where you can draw things?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm average.
Okay, you were
Just
doodling.
average. Doodle, I doodle a lot, but I still have all my old notebooks from basically when I was born. I was just looking at them this week, and I was like, I don't think I've gotten any better in 50 years. It's the same.
You are very modest, and I like that about you. But I think you're better at things than you realize, or
Mm.
that you want to give. I have no problem telling people how good I am at things I'm good at. I'm not good at art. All right, so you went for like 3 years. You're working, and then you dropped out. You reassessed everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said you went for graphic design.
Yeah.
Now,
So I have a
during
degree, graphic design advertising degree. Yeah.
okay, so during this, are you still in the video games? Has the band broke up? Have they done reunion tours?
And unfortunately, they all went to college and they didn't want to continue with the band. So I started doing my solo work. I would do my own, write my own music.
Really?
Yeah.
So, did you actually perform, or did you just
Yeah, I played not a lot, but I played maybe like one or two shows. Yeah.
okay? And how did that what kind of music were you writing, and
It's not the type of music that you play in a club, so it's
what does
hard. It
that
was
mean?
hard because back then in New York, like the clubs want to hear rock, you know,
Yeah,
and you telling them, there's no drummer, there's no bassist, it's just a keyboard, and a sampler, and, and that's it. They're like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna book you, So
I feel like that's prime for today, though.
today, I know it's
You
right.
have
That's
this,
what everyone I tell that same thing. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's every club in Brooklyn now. It's like, yeah, back then it wasn't. No, it's like
but
CBGB and all those.
well, not CBGB.
We played there a lot, but with the band, not myself.
Did you
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I know CBGB because I'm a punk rocker. It's the only reason.
We'll get
No,
to that. We'll get back to that. Yeah.
but no, I talk like the younger kids, like when I talk to about skateboarding, and they're like they don't understand why I think that people my age look at me like you still do that, or and I'm like because there was no like the old guys skateboarding when we were little were like Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's like 7 years older than me. That's really
Wow.
that's huge at 13. That's not huge at 50. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of those things where you're like, that's kind of crazy. Okay, action figure sold separately wants to know what band. Do you have a band?
Oh, um, Purgatory. That's the first band.
That's the one that the guy was hitting on you to play keyboards.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
um, is it? It'd be so hard to find though if there's this stuff on YouTube.
What's that?
If there's stuff of you guys playing on YouTube,
There is, but it's a private link, so
that's what I'm saying. Like
you'll
I,
never
I
find it.
know I have some buddies that did that do professional wrestling, and to find their stuff is not very easy at all.
Hmm.
Only because it's one of those weird things where you're like, okay, what you are, there's 5,000 other things that come up under that same label.
Yep.
Um, all right, so you're going to school for graphic arts, but you've played CBGBs. Now you said you'll come back to the whole punk thing. Did you get into
Hmm.
the punk scene then? I mean, you're in New
No,
York.
well, yeah, I'm in New York. So this we have to kind of fast forward a little bit for this. But 2003, I met someone. I don't know if you ever heard of Rackage Records from the 70s, maybe 80s.
I have not.
Okay, so like BC Boys' first album, I think Pollywog Stew or
Okay.
something. So I think that was released on that label, Bad Brains, like stuff like that.
Oh, I know Bad Brains.
So that was a kind of a defunct record label, but also a store in the village, in the East Village.
Okay.
So the person who kind of created that whole thing, we somehow hooked up online. And at the time I was quitting my job, and that was going to be like a new project, start up a record company. And it was all this like punk rock stuff. So and I didn't really know much about it because that's not, I know a little bit, but it's not really my scene. That's not the music I listen to. But I know, just from playing in music and knowing a lot of people, I know a little bit about it. So that didn't work out too well, but that was bad timing on that too, because that was like right when iTunes and iPods were getting big, and trying to sell CDs of like old 80s punk bands was not really.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once it all got on the internet, you were able to
Mhm.
find stuff that where it may have been worth a lot on record, on vinyl, and then you find out it's like, oh, I can find this on SoulSeek, which is
Yeah.
seriously the coolest thing. I don't know. Well, LimeWire,
Yeah, yeah.
the one that's just full of viruses. How many people lost their computers because of LimeWire?
I think I lost hard drives because of that. I don't know.
Quickly here, just want to throw in a
Fucking Phil Collins.
for a war chest full of toys, member for 18 months. Thank you very much. Um, all right, so you go to school for graphic design. Uh, how long did it take you to graduate? You seem like you seem very driven.
4 years
Okay.
for graphic design. Yeah, just it's typical.
Now, did you go into that field? Or
I
are
actually
you?
was going for computer art. Like that's because I figured that's the next step to work in the video game industry. Like if you
Okay.
learn
You
that
were really
stuff.
trying to get in the. Yeah, you were really trying to get in the
Oh
video.
yeah, yeah. That was
Okay.
really my passion. Like that was what I saw in my vision. And then when I tried to do it, they said, well, the classes for that were filled. They said you have to wait a year to get into that. And they were like, well, you can do graphic design if you want, and then if you change your mind, you can always switch. And I was like, I was like, I don't know. Like, do I want to wait another year? So, they kind of pushed me towards, I had talks with my family and stuff, and they said, why don't you do graphic design? And I had some friends who did it, and they said, there's a lot of money you can make in graphic design. It's pretty good. It's a lucrative career. So I was like, all right, if I can make money, because like 3D art was still kind of new. It wasn't
Yeah.
really commonplace. So I was like, okay, that seems like the safe bet. So that's what I did instead. And then after the first year, I was like, this is kind of cool. I'll stick with it.
Now, like, like, is there anything specific that you've done that we would know? And I'm asking because you've done all kinds of like crazy things.
Okay. So I did actually work for, I did some video games, graphic design video games.
Okay.
So I worked with AOL games for a bit. And then we did,
Rip
uh,
AOL.
yeah. I
Rest
also worked with Activision. I did some Activision projects. And then the only other stuff I did that you might know was I worked for Troma Entertainment. So I did all the box covers and DVDs, posters for Troma, and also martial arts movies. That were
Matthew, do you hear that? Martial arts movies. Matthew is our resident martial
Oh,
artist.
okay.
He can kick your ass and my
I
ass
think
and everyone else's ass.
I
And he
learned a lot about martial arts.
and he's my moderator. So you've done a whole bunch of stuff. Like you are
Oh,
so
it's all over
modern.
the place. It's all over.
But it doesn't like again, like you're like for someone that like I had to kind of follow back and before anyone is wondering like you know like well you were kind of going back and like stalking because it's my channel. I can click on people's names and follow back to their channel, and it was out there. So going back to that, like what were you doing on were they considered podcasts back then? Because you did a whole bunch of stuff that I believe you're talking about video games and everything, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that was 2012. I think that was. Yeah,
Okay.
I was doing other little things on YouTube before that with
Like,
an ex of mine. And because well, here it is. Like, I guess like kind of what you're saying, like I like to push myself to do different things. I want to experience different things. And a lot of people always accuse me of being very shy, which I'm kind of shy a little bit, as you can tell. But I always feel like I like to push myself to not like to not be shy and do things like that. So I figured, well, maybe I can. I like stage performing too when I played with the band. So we did. My ex was doing like little video projects, so I would do that, and I was kind of learning like how to be in front of a
now,
camera and stuff.
now your ex is not a singer of a band where you played
No,
keyboards for, right?
nope.
Want to make sure. It could have been though. Just saying. I'm sorry. Right now, you're going, was he hitting on me? What was that? That's the way a 13-year-old, 14-year-old hits on someone.
It never even occurred to me. I wasn't even interested in that stuff. Like the idea of like dating or anything
I
like
didn't
that
say
age.
you were.
It's I don't know. Like I was a nerd, so I wanted like video games and toys
Yeah.
and cartoons.
Uh, I totally lost my train of thought. Do you remember what we were talking about?
Oh,
You
the
were
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah. So one thing led to another. I did another. I was on this guy I met online. He was doing a video game YouTube show, and I kind of did some co-hosting with him or co-starring, whatever you want to call it. And then from there, I just got into. I was like, well, let me do my own thing, you know. And a friend of mine who's in the video, and I was just like, we talk about video game. We were hanging because I was unemployed at the time too. I should probably throw that in there. I lost my job, so I was like, well, we're hanging out just talking about stuff. And then I think I was kind of influenced by maybe Seinfeld had a show called Comedians Getting Coffee or something where he would just drive around and have coffee and just talk. And I was
Yeah.
like, I should do that with video games. We should just talk about it. And that's kind of I think how it started. We just like let's roll the camera and just talk about like movies and games and whatever else and just see what happens.
No, what kind of people did you talk to? Like, did you just reach out to all different types of people, or
Well, no, it was mostly just us talking, and it's funny because the
okay?
one person I did interview, I did one interview in I don't know 12 shows, and it's kind of a sad story actually. It's not funny, but he ended up just a couple years ago. He ended up murdering his girlfriend and killing himself. So he became kind of one of those online troll type people. It got like part of Gamergate and all that. It got kind of ugly. And meanwhile, I was like,
I'm not trying to
oh,
laugh, but
like I was kind of friends with this guy, and I had him on my show and interviewed him. But this was like before I knew really what he was about, kind of thing. I met him in person once because we met at a convention.
I have one murderer on my Facebook friends list.
Caught or wanted?
No, he's in prison.
Oh, okay.
I used to run a sports message board in Detroit, and I made him the moderator for the wrestling section. And then it obviously went under because I was done doing it, and a group chat that I'm still in, two of the guys, one guy's like, "Oh my god," and we went, and he unalived his girlfriend, and she was in his basement for like 6 months and mutilated the body.
Oh my god.
And lived right down the street from one of my best friends, my video game friend, in the same townhouses or condos that his mom still lived in. It's not funny. Shouldn't laugh.
It's nervous laughter. Yeah.
Yes, and when I go back, and I never met him before, but when I go back and look at some of the conversations, one of the last things was a Chris Benoit joke. No
Oof.
shit. Yeah, no lie. It's a Chris Benoit joke that he had sent me, and you're like, wow, who knew that you were telling me? And here's the craziest thing about it is that when you look at the timeline of when after he had unalived her, he was posting about watching Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and then you're like, dude, you sick bastard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a time for another show when someone wants to ask me questions. So it's like I said, it's a nervous laughter. That's your one interview. Good job, Steph.
Were you big into wrestling?
I was huge into wrestling.
I was too.
Yeah, growing up, I don't know if you know, Ed, this is for you. I was at WrestleMania 3 with 93,173 people.
I think I was too.
Detroit, Michigan, or not Pontiac, Michigan, not Detroit.
Yeah, I was in New York. Was it Uniondale? Maybe was it? Yeah.
No, WrestleMania 3 was in Pontiac.
Wasn't it broadcast in 3 different locations, or was that 2?
That was 2.
Oh, okay, that's the one.
Yeah,
I was at.
2 was the one in 3 different locations. Like there's that. Here we go. She asked me if I'm a wrestling fan. I did not bring it up. All right, though I never shy away from talking about watching or Hulk Hogan pick up the big mean giant and slam him. No, yeah, I was a huge wrestling fan. Probably into around 2002, 2003.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, well, all through the Attitude Era, through the NWO, like all that stuff.
That was the best years. I was really big into it, and I that's another thing I always wanted to do, be a wrestler. So we used to like kind of play fight. I'm sure you used to do it, like fake wrestle.
Yep.
So when they did the Diva search, do you remember the Diva search when they would do that every year? So the very, very first one, I entered into it.
Really?
And the first one was a vote. You had to vote on the website. So if you would probably not gonna remember, I can't find. I went into the Wayback Machine to try to get like a screen grab. I never had it. So I was on the front page, not the front page, but like the voting page where you had to like vote for who should be the next diva. And I made it to round 2, but I didn't finish. The competition I wasn't even in the same league as some of them, but I was like, that could be my shot in. Let's see what happens.
So Graf wants to know favorite wrestler as a child.
Probably Roddy Piper or Bret Hart.
God, I hope Toy Connections is not watching this.
I would probably lean towards Roddy Piper.
As long as it's not Bret Hart. With that said, like again, Hulk Hogan is like, he was it. But I always loved the British Bulldog.
I like them. British Bulldogs, I was a big fan. I never liked Hogan. I wasn't a Hogan fan.
How could you not be?
I was the one who booed him when he would come out.
Oh, see.
Yep.
One of them.
One of them.
Cobra Slug says Piper, good answer. I was never a big Piper fan. I don't know why. I was never a big Piper fan. And then you look back at what he did and you're like, yeah, he did some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not only a lie. This is just flat out wrong. Shawn Michaels is 10 times the wrestler that Bret Hart. Of course, Bret Hart will never tell you because he'll tell you he's the best wrestler ever. All right, so big wrestling fan. Yeah, you didn't say anything about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably something you probably kind of leave out also. As a girl, especially growing up, until you get to probably after the NWO. I mean, that changed everything for wrestling, but girls still weren't into it really.
Well, my cousins are girls, and we were all into it. My cousin was actually maybe a bigger fan than I was. She was obsessed with The Undertaker. She would always do the Scott Hall thing where you point like your fingers. We would do that. She would do the crotch chops, like all that stuff. So when I would go over, we'd watch the pay-per-views and we would just have a good time. Hmm.
No, that's awesome. I love the fact that you like, and you had cousins you said that are into it also.
They
So
had GI Joe also. Yep.
so if they had, did you go over there and play with them too, or
Yeah, on the weekends we would hang out. Hmm.
so how many cousins are we talking about that?
Just two, but they were 4 to 6 years younger.
Okay, but they still play with GI Joe. So
They
now
had
you
some.
had.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have what I had. I had a crazy collection, but they had a few. Yeah.
I know the feeling when someone has a few and you're like, why don't you just come over to my house?
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
everything else over here. It's a lot easier,
And they were
right?
younger, so I'm like, wait, don't break that one. Don't break that vehicle.
Well, you don't want to break
Careful.
anything, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, are you still doing anything on YouTube?
No, I don't really have the. It's funny. I have this list of things I wanted to review and do, and it's been sitting there for a year and a half now. Just
So,
can't.
what about all the video game stuff that you got into?
Um, that's it. There's not much more going on.
So, it seems like you may like you kind of start like a few things, but you don't always. There's not
It
like a long
feels.
term.
I think because it comes down to you have bills to pay, and then
Okay.
you can only try these like little adventures for a little bit, and then it's like, oh, I got bills to pay. I guess it's time to get like a job that I know is going to get a paycheck every week, kind of thing.
All right. Fred Jackson.
Hmm.
Is this someone you know?
Yeah.
Power Pad Champ. Now, is he saying you're the Power Pad Champ, or is he claiming victory?
No, that's probably referring to the Newsweek photo. Uh-huh.
Oh no, were you really good at Nintendo? Because you said like they're talking about like this prodigy and like when they were promoting you. Were you that good, or was it you were
No,
just
I was good. There wasn't really at the time though. I had, I'm sure there were people better than me. I was at the Nintendo World Championship, and obviously I didn't win, but I got pretty far. And it was always my mission to beat every Nintendo game I owned. So if I bought a game, I was finishing it, completing it, no matter what.
did you beat every game you owned?
Yes.
Did you beat Solomon's Key?
Yes.
You liar.
Nope. Name a game and I probably beat it. Yeah.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yes. Both levels, the first time and the second time around. Yeah.
How?
It's not easy. Goggle 13, another hard one. Bayou Billy, another hard one.
Oh, BioBilly was awful. I
Mm-hmm.
had that game. I had Solomon's Key. We tried, and I think we got like within 5.
That's a hard game.
It's extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow. You really beat Solomon's Key?
Mm-hmm. Mighty Bomb Jack. I can
So,
go
okay,
on.
you went to the Nintendo Championship. Now, do you remember how far you got?
I made it to Tetris, which was the last round.
Okay.
And I had my plan was to build the column up, and then you get the long piece, and you drop the long piece on the
Yeah.
side. I never saw. I practiced Tetris quite a bit. I never saw a game like that where I never got the long piece. I filled the entire board with all bricks, and I had a big long spot on the side. I never got that long piece, and I died. And when you finish it, like, what? I don't know if you're how familiar with Tetris, but it
Oh,
shows you like your ratio of pieces. It's like you
yeah.
got this many, and like you see, I had all the pieces except for the long one, the long skinny one, which you use to complete the levels. Never came, and because I think on the competition, it starts up on fast, so like it's not you don't have time to really just
You're not warming up. You're just
yeah.
right into it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most lines you've had on Tetris? Do you remember?
No.
So my buddy that I skate with, Tony. He's just one of those prodigy guys. Like everything he does, he's super good at. And he was really good at Tetris. And this is weird. And I equated to the black and white and the color. I had Tetris on my Game Boy, which is black and white. And I was really good, and other people weren't nearly as good. And I think it bothered them because it didn't have color. But when I tried playing it on the Nintendo, it's the exact same game, but something about it I wasn't nearly as good. But then I'd get on that Game Boy, which is in black and white, and I'd get well over 200 lines every time. And by that time, and I remember talking to Tony, he'd well over 200. I'm like, how do you even do it? He's like, you have to be looking at the piece and already moving before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's too much.
Have you ever seen the modern people play it? Where they
No.
do finger rolls on the controller, some kind of weird, like on their lap, this weird finger roll, so they can just move the piece as quick as possible.
No, that's
It's
crazy.
really crazy.
I can't type fast. I was at my ex's one day, and this was when my kids were both going back and forth, and I was talking to her, and I could hear in her bedroom just tapping. And I go, "What's he doing?" She goes, "Oh, he's playing a game." I go, "With the keyboard?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And I go, "Well, what's all the tap?" And she's like, "He's talking to his friends." I go, "He's not typing that fast." She goes, "Yeah, he is." I go, "No." I go, "Because he's moving," and then she goes, "He types faster than I do," which she can type fast because that was part of her job. And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." And I'm watching this kid, and he's just like, so yeah, it doesn't shock me, but it blows my mind what they do with all that type of stuff. So, so how much are you into the video games now?
I don't have the time that much to play. Working so many hours a week, I'm pretty tired and can't squeeze it in.
So, what do you mind me asking what you're doing these days?
Oh, I'm a photo stylist. So I decorate rooms for e-commerce.
Okay, so do you mind talking about that because I asked you about that,
Mm-hmm.
and when you told me, I went,
Yeah, what?
kind of explain what
It's
it is that you do.
it's not a common job anymore, but so the company sells, like, for instance, furniture or rugs or something like that. So they would slap the rug down, and then you have to kind of build the room up. So you put a couch, you put tables, and then you put you decorate. You put, like, maybe a picture on the wall, pillows, and then they take a picture. Okay, next, put another rug down, and then you do the same thing, and you just do that over and over every day.
Okay, I kind of know what you're talking about only because uh, one of our copiers, well,
Mm-hmm.
not one copier, but one of our clients is Dunham's. I don't know if you guys have Dunham's. It's Sports Authority. It's like a Sports Authority. It's sports.
Mm-hmm. I think I
So
heard of it.
sometimes, yeah, when I'm walking through, I'll see those rooms that are talking exactly what you're doing, where they set stuff up, and that's where they're taking all their pictures for what they're going to put out on their, in their displays and everything. But when you told me, you were like, what you see on Amazon? That's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, just look up a rug on Amazon. Chances are that's probably one of my photos.
So you're a
Yeah.
professional photographer.
I don't do the photography. I just do the room styling.
So you're a professional. Um,
I wouldn't even call it professional.
do you get paid for it?
I do get paid.
You're professional. So basically, what you're saying is you do dioramas for rugs and
You're
everything.
right. I didn't look at it that way.
You got to look at everything that way.
It's
But you don't
funny
get
because
any picture.
we do kids rugs. Those are some of my favorite because I get to put toys around the rug and stuff.
See,
Or kids furniture. Yeah.
and you're looking at it from a different point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Probably sometimes you're like, okay, I better not do it that way. Okay, so when it comes to collecting, I can see you have some Pac-Man stuff back there, but what do you collect?
Right now, I am collecting. I still buy an occasional Transformers. I winded down that collection a little bit.
Do you buy modern stuff or older stuff?
So that's one thing. I don't really ever buy old stuff. I like new.
Okay.
The old stuff, I feel like you know what it is. I like to play with my stuff, and I feel like the old stuff's just too fragile. I don't want to break anything, and I feel like I've had everything I ever wanted. So to go back, it doesn't really interest me anymore. I like new things. I like having adventures in my head. So what I like to do a lot, like, for instance, we'll get back to that, but I like to create like world building. So, like, I'll see a cool monster or something at a toy show, and I'll be like, oh, in my world, like that guy can fit in with like, as a Cobra creature or something like that. I don't know, like just for instance, or this robot would fit in good with the Autobots, so I'll buy that, kind of thing. So that's
Now,
kind of how I buy toys. Or if I see something really like quirky or funny or weird, I'll buy it.
now, do you do photography,
No. I mean, if I
or
do
do
it,
you,
it's just for
or do you
fun.
take pictures of your own stuff, or do you just it's your spare time and you're just like, I wanted to set this up and no one
Yeah.
else needs to know about it? And
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, like I think the picture you used for the thumbnail, that Toys R Us thing,
I love that.
that was just like a fun Sunday, just taking out a whole bunch of toys and taking a picture. I think that thing was from Cardboard. I forget the guy who makes the cardboard displays.
Okay.
And yeah. Oh, I did last year I did a very short segment with G.I. Joe Berg. I don't know if you know them.
Yes.
I was on that Demons movie. I had a short minute and a half segment.
You were on what?
They do like the play motions, G.I. Joe Berg.
Okay.
So I had a small segment on one of their movies.
Oh, interesting. I did
Yeah.
not know that. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't really follow him.
Yeah.
Um,
So they're the ones that almost kind of got me back into G.I. Joe when I found their YouTube page.
so then what fully got you back into it?
Fully got back into it was, I think, the Walmart retro collection that came out like 2020 or 2019.
That the Cobra Officer
The
vehicle.
short-lived collection.
So
I
my
saw
video.
I think they were on sale or something. And I was like, all right, the price is not bad. And I was like, maybe I'll pick one up. I never, haven't really bought any of these newer ones. And then I found that G.I. Joe Berg channel, and I was like, oh man, adults playing with toys and making movies out of it. I was like, that's kind of cool. And I got really into
So
it. And I was like, oh man, I wish there was like, I wanted more, like, I want to buy more of these like 3 3/4 figures. Like, I haven't had them in such a long time. It was just
so
like,
so why not anything with the 6-inch figures, the 112? Like, you have no interest in that?
I never liked the size. No, I always liked 4 inch or smaller.
See, that's my type of girl.
Mhm.
Um,
Did I give you a good soundbite there?
um oh, fuck those girls. They want 6 inches. Um, you said you can let your Brooklyn out. So I hope I wasn't overstepping anything. um, all right. So no interest at all in the 112 scale, which is where almost everything has gone to.
Hmm.
All the Marvel Legends, obviously the G.I. Joe Classified and stuff like that.
I did
Um,
buy a few classifieds. I think I told you a while back,
yeah.
but I just didn't. I was playing with them. I'm like, there's something about them that just doesn't feel the same to me. I don't know if I can't put my finger on what it is. Maybe it's just too realistic looking or something. I like the imagination involved with toys, so I like the simple. Even like I like the stupid like Chat May stuff.
So is Royal Rooster someone of
No,
really?
unknown.
I don't know that one either. So nice to have all of the new people. Seriously, and again, they come over to see you, and that's great. Probably a one-time stop, and I fully understand that. All right. So then, when it comes to these figures, like what other figures are you collecting? Now, obviously, I would assume when it comes to Transformers, those scales are all over the place. I don't think there is a scale for it. I know they call them what they call them scales, but there's no like actual scale.
Hmm.
So does that bother you, like within their different scales, or can you just fudge that how you want?
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't matter to me. The
Okay.
scale with Transformers never bothered me. Yeah.
But when it comes to like GI Joe, so how interested are you in like the Super 7 stuff that they're doing?
Very interested. Yeah. I actually sent them an email to let them know how happy I was. And I was like, please when the first wave came out, I was like, please make more of these. Like, especially because CoverGirl was always a figure I wanted. And I was like, that's the first wave. I actually had all the like a lot of the reactions from before.
Yeah.
but that 5 POA is just not great for playing with.
It's
So
awful. You can say it's awful.
it's not. Yes.
It
There's definitely
is
room for
awful.
improvement.
Yes.
Well, even as a child, and we kind of skipped over this, but I was never into Star Wars. Were you into Star Wars?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was like the big toy growing up. Like, who didn't have Star Wars?
Yeah, I was into Star Wars, and that's why when like Brian Flynn, and I remember specifically him on the Full Force, and he had an interview with, or Chris had an interview with him, and when he was talking about when he first got the license, and they asked about the O-ring, and he said, "Well, he said that's a Hasbro thing, and to be honest, I've always liked 5 POA more anyway," which I could understand if you didn't have the rights to do the O-ring, but don't make up lies like that, because there's never been a single person on this earth, never, ever, they got a G.I. Joe and they said, you know what would make this better? If he had shitty articulation like a Star Wars figure.
What are we talking about? Deep Six now?
The Deep Six, him in his arms, I just,
Yeah, right.
I hate that figure so much. I hate that figure. So okay, so you actually enjoy like what they're doing. Now, what about other lines? Like there's Delta 17. I know it has
Yeah,
really
I
more.
picked up some of the Delta 17.
I know the owners, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Well, hook me up, maybe.
And one of them is that stupid Bret Hart fan.
Okay.
I can't
I
get
like
them to
him. I
hook
like
me
him
up.
already.
They're both Canadian.
What was it, Ken, right?
Ken. Yep.
Yeah.
Toy Connections.
Well, so what? I'm trying to think what's in my IKEA Detolfs right now. I have some cereal mascot figures, like some a couple of Funko Pops, probably. Strawberry Shortcake. I have a lot of those. Some video game toys. G.I. Joe. Not too much G.I. Joe, really. Transformers and Masters of the Universe. A couple of things.
Now, did you start
Yeah.
collecting the Origin stuff?
No, because I felt like that's kind of a dangerous path to go in.
It
So,
was.
so all I did was I limited myself to one of my favorite characters. So I bought Merman, but it was it was which one was it? The one with the weird face that was like in the back of the box that they
Yes.
never. And I always wanted that as a child. I was like, I want that one that's on the box, not the one that that they actually made. So I bought that, and then of course they made the other two Merman, so I had to buy those two.
Okay, so Clinton Jorgensen is asking, were you a fan of the
Of course.
2008 Strawberry Shortcake run?
Very big fan.
No, I've never
Yeah.
heard you talk about Strawberry Shortcake, and then I see your Instagram name,
Uh-huh.
and I see Shortcake, and I kind of put, well, I assumed that you meant Strawberry Shortcake, and then I saw you take a drink, and I went, all right, well, that kind of solidified it. So is Strawberry Shortcake like?
It's not. I'm not I wouldn't say I didn't grow up with it as much.
Yeah.
The cartoon is. It's okay. It's a little hard to watch. Even.
But is it something that you're into now?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you pick up any of the Boss Fight Studio stuff?
I like the Boss Fight Studio stuff a lot. It's a little pricey. I have a toy budget every month, so
Yeah, me too.
You're right.
I couldn't even give a straight face.
Come on now.
Hey, the biggest lie here. All right, so you don't collect any of that. You haven't collected any of that?
Not yet. No, I just buy the loyal. What are they called?
Loyal subjects.
Yeah, they're making more like retro styled, like almost like the Origins versions of Strawberry Shortcake. So I've been buying those.
So okay, go back to Merman. So do you have a lot of Merman stuff?
Just
like, is that what you kind of did, or
mermaid stuff?
No,
or
mermaid.
Just mermaid.
No, mermaid. Did you say merman?
Merman, yeah, from He-Man.
But do you have a whole bunch of it, or you just have one?
I just have one.
Okay.
He might have been my first figure, and that's why I kind of associate like memories with that one
Now,
when I
would
was
you be
growing up.
willing to give up your merman if you could get a moss man on a polar bear?
I can smell the Mossman from here. I really love the smell. You know what I really liked? Stinkor's smell.
Patchouli?
Yeah, is that what it was? I think one of my friends in the chat right now, he had that growing up. And I
So
remember I would take his Stinkor and smell like, oh yeah, it's the good
there
stuff.
there was a girl in high school. She was an alternative girl, and she was friends with one of my girlfriends at the time, and her and I didn't really get along, but she was she wore the patchouli, and there was a friend of mine that was like, she smells like skunkor, and I went, oh my god. And then you find out they use patchouli, I believe, for skunkor, and it made sense. Like, he wasn't lying. Like, he was saying it as a joke, but he was actually honest. Like, yep. Hey, Mossman, I think Mossman probably needs to make an appearance on every episode. And I'm a little disappointed, and Tony can't even bother to show up and see Mossman. He'll have to see him a little bit more on Circle of Jerks this Tuesday. So what are the big things that you're into now? Like, what do you like?
So now I've gone into G.I. Joe, a 1/18 scale. So I bought a lot of those old Fortnite figures. I have some of those. And just like new G.I. Joe stuff in that scale, 1/18. Any like weird vehicles that fit G.I. Joe. So I'm really into vehicles a lot. So I think that's part of growing up with G.I. Joe. I really loved the I really like engineering and building things. So I loved opening up that box and you have just like the the what do they call the sprue
Blueprint?
trees? Was that?
The blueprints, or
Yeah, the blueprints and everything, and just like assembling it and put it together. It was almost like a model kit, like for dummies, kind of. And
yeah, I would. You know what? That is exactly how I would explain it, because I've tried model kits, and I'm like,
no, I know
I can
with the
pop on
glue,
wheels.
and I get glue everywhere. It was a
Yeah,
big
I
mess.
can pop on wheels.
Yeah.
So,
So
so,
that was
so
really a big thing for me. You know.
so you
So
like
like when Toys R Us released G.I. Joe, they came back with some of those old vehicles, I think in like 2000 or 2001 or something. And I was like, Let me buy back some of my toys." I think I bought the His tank or something. I opened it up and the whole vehicle's put together already. And I was like, I looked in the box. I'm like, was this returned? Like, what is this? I was so disappointed.
see, I'm that guy. I don't want to put stickers on. I want
Oh, I
them
love the
already on.
stickers too. Mm-hmm.
I know why my dad was so frustrated now. Um, especially the little ones. When you realize you can use tweezers and it makes it easier to put on the smaller ones,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but when you're when you don't realize that you're just trying to smash them on with your fingers, especially as a kid, that's why you see so many of these vehicles and you're like, that sticker doesn't go there.
It drives me crazy.
But I
So
want
I was very particular. Like the sticker had to be so my OCD was like off the charts. It had to be so perfect and lined up. And when the parts go together, even with Transformers, like the parts piece together, like those two stickers had to line up perfect.
that. Okay, so I'm on board with that. And how many times did you peel off a sticker because it didn't land perfect? Or when you looked on one side of a hiss and the 788 wasn't lined up perfectly, and your dad is like, no one's going to notice anyway. And you're like, but I.
Yeah, probably a few times because those are the stickers that always kind of peeled at the edges.
So you're collecting, like, you like getting into vehicles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Are you married?
No.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is such a guy answer. It's normally a yes or no.
Well, yeah, all right. Yeah.
Okay, you're in a relationship.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to play keyboard in my band? No. Okay, how does he accept this? Or how do they accept this? I don't know if it's he or not. How do they accept, like, you're collecting your video games, which I know you said you don't really play as much right now, but how do they accept that?
He's a big gamer, and
Okay.
also he's kind of the one that got me back into buying toys again.
Okay.
Because I
So
kind of gave it up for a little bit.
so very supportive of.
Yeah,
Now, again, you said I have a budget.
I do.
What would it be like if you said I don't have a budget, I buy what I want? I'm
Well, then
asking
the
in case
next, I think
if I
the
want to
next
start
step is that
dating.
I don't have. Was that? What?
I'm asking in case I ever want to start dating again. How do I approach I don't have a fucking budget.
I think it's also a matter of the space too, because I live in a small,
I don't have space either.
space.
I'm
And
losing all these arguments.
let me tell you, my storage unit is so expensive. I'm like, I just keep throwing more things in storage, and I'm like, this is no good. This is not
So,
the path to
so
winning.
if you're putting stuff in storage, do you go and get it out? And
No, it sits there. The unopened toys in my storage unit.
doesn't that drive you nuts?
It does, yeah.
Man.
And now it's to the point where it's like I have some space in my IKEA detolf, and it's like, oh, let me put that transformer. And I have space for that one now. And I look it up on eBay, and it's like, oh, that thing's worth like 8 times as much as I paid. It's like $250. And I'm like, I can't open this now. Now it's like valuable.
I can see why that would be. I mean, I can fully see how if you don't open up something right away, when you go to open up and you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to open it that much. Maybe I don't even need it that much, because you're like, how many other things can I buy with this?
Yeah, right.
But so he's it sounds like he's really supportive of the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And so after you set everything up, do you like go and get him? And you're like, hey, come look at this.
We usually do it together. That's kind of like,
Okay.
well, most of the time, yeah. Or if I'm by myself and I take photos, I'll send it to him.
So you guys,
that's the kind of photos I share. When I'm like, take a look at this one. Toy playing action.
yeah, that's not what not what most guys want from the girlfriend. His friends are like, oh, you're gonna show us that picture? Yeah, here, look. It's another display that she just did. No, that's cool. I mean, like I couldn't imagine finding somebody that would be interested in what I do. I'd probably also be aggravated if I found somebody that was so interested they want to be part of it all the time. Like, don't you have your own hobby to go do? Just go do your own hobbies. We can go to like Comic Cons together and stuff, but I don't want to go with me 24/7. Not that it sounds like you guys are, because like you said, he's into video games and you're like, I don't have time for that.
Right.
So you don't play video games with him? Like,
oh, we used to, yeah. Right now, I don't have any consoles right now. They broke, so we have just the Switch. But yeah, it's just
are you
finding
an
time.
angry player?
Well, what happened was lightning hit the house and it blew out anything that was hooked up to, even though I had a surge protector, but surprise, surprise, surge protectors don't always work. So
As someone who fixes copy machines, and I've heard people say that, and it's like, if lightning wants to go through it, lightning's going to go through it.
yep. So I lost just about everything, but I replaced the Switch, so I have that. So sometimes we'll play like simple games that we can just casually play on a weekend. Yeah.
Okay. And now, does he collect toys at all?
Yeah, he's a big Micronaut collector.
Oh, okay. I had no idea what Micronauts were. It seems shocking because most people, everyone's like, how do you not like?
Because I don't
remember them as kids.
I think by like 78, 79, once Star Wars came out, I think that would kind of eliminated kind of the big push for Micronauts in the stores. I don't remember it either. To be honest, I don't remember it, but I did have the racetrack, the big tubes, I think it was, the Micronauts tubes.
Okay.
But I think, I don't know why, I don't know why I wanted that or I got that, but it might be because it had glow-in-the-dark stickers on it, and I was really into neon and glowing stuff. So that's probably how I ended up with that one.
That's interesting. So was he excited for the Micronauts from Super 7 then?
Yeah, very.
So that's something you guys can you have your G.I. Joes, and then...
Yeah, I mean, he's he grew up a little, different generation, but he had some GI Joe, some Transformers.
Is he older or younger?
A little older, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, again,
So like, yeah, Micronauts is maybe that's why. I notice even like I have a coworker who's a little older, and he grew up at Micronauts too.
okay. Yeah, like everyone seems to know. Like everyone's like, "How do you not know Micronauts?" Where I'm like, I don't know. I just never. I actually have some, and I had no idea what they were until somebody started talking about them. I'm like, I think I have some of those, and I
Oh
bought them.
yeah,
I bought them in a huge lot. I had no idea what they were.
some of them are really expensive.
Yeah, these are not in great shape. I
Mm.
know that. Or else I would have sold them already. Because I also got like a whole thing of She-Ra,
Oh, okay.
and I had no idea what. I would not have known that it was She-Ra stuff unless if the guy had told me, and I didn't sell it right away. And when I sold it for about twice as much as I bought everything for. So I'm like, all right, made my money back here, and I got everything that I wanted, which
Mm-hmm.
was GI Joe stuff. Clint says if he collects Howdy Doody, he
And
needs it.
Duty.
So where do you see you collecting going from here? Do you see them like? Do you see people still creating the O-ring figures or 4-inch figures that you're into?
There's a lot of new stuff coming out, but it's it's kind of gets pricey, these new figures, so I have to still budget myself and say, okay, you can buy this, and that's it, until next
Can you
month.
tell me what your budget is per
I
month? Or is
try to
it?
keep it at 50 a month. I see. See that?
Hey Ed, did you hear that?
50. Yep.
Um,
But it rolls over, so if I don't spend 50 one month, then it's 100 the next month.
oh, it rolled. It's like minutes on your phone
Yes.
plan. Wait, how do you come? Okay, now again, I'm always yes. Joe fans are how responsive, and I'm always. And again, this has nothing to do with whether or not you can or can't afford it. I always tell people, I'm like, don't try and keep up with everyone else. If you can't afford a $25 figure, or you feel $25 for a figure is too much, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I fully stand by that, and I believe that. Where does $50 come from? Like, is there like, are you saying, hey, that's all I can afford, or are you just like, this is all that I want to spend because I don't want to be like that idiot across from me on this channel right now?
Just some arbitrary number I made up. It
Okay.
just sounded good.
So you just said 50 seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
GI Joe figures were less than $3 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
50 every 48 hours, yeah, somewhere around there. But when they're pre-orders, they're not going to come for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Even Roman agreed. Shut up. He's looking over at me like, you idiot. I'm still blown away by the $50. So you probably look for a lot of things on clearance then.
I do. I'm a clearance shopper. Yep.
Have you been watching BBTS and all their clearances and stuff?
Yes.
Because they've had a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I have a Baroness in my cart.
You can actually buy a Stinger right now for $50.
I know it's tempting, but I'm not going to do it. I don't have the space. I honestly don't have the space anymore.
I had
like
to talk
I said,
to
whatever
myself
I collect has to fit in a detolf, and that's it. If you saw it, the boxes, it's off camera. There's like about 15 containers worth of toys here, and then there's like 4 more in another room, and then there's like 6 more in another room, and then there's a storage unit.
I have to say that the magic of the camera work. When I say to people, like, you have no idea what's sitting in front of me. You see what's behind me. There's a reason why it's dark. All right.
Yeah, right.
And again, I've actually moved to where I'm doing reviews to downstairs because I think the lighting is actually better. And then I don't have to worry about, I can do pictures up here instead of constantly moving things around. I don't know how long that's going to take till I start losing it. So this may be something, again, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Amazon now has a thing called Haul, Haul.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's Woot. So if you type in HAUL, it'll take you to this purple, say beta, and then type in stuff, and it's all stuff under $20.
It's like AliExpress, kind of their version, right? Just cheap, or Timo or something like.
Yeah, but it's actually like real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they had three classified figures.
Really?
Like, I just bought this. Like, I bought this for like, I think it was like $10. But they have a bunch of Super 7 3.75 reaction figures.
Oh wow.
They only had one GI Joe, but they had a bunch of other ones, and it just constantly kind of goes through. So anyone that's looking for stuff, I've been going there like every morning, and I just kind of type it in and see if any new GI Joes. And I just found out about it the other day. Like someone posted on one of the Facebook pages, and I went. They posted the 3 figures that were there. I'm like, well, I don't need another Scarlet, and I don't need a Jinx, but I do need another Techno Viper because I only bought one. Again, need and want are 2 different things, but. So, is there any other line you're looking at that you're excited to get?
I don't think so. Nope.
So GI Joe, you've stayed away from He-Man.
I've been very good. I have one She-Ra from the new line, like the Masterverse She-Ra, and I have just the Merman. And I'm lying. I gotta come clean. I bought some of the Snake Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
To me, it fits in my GI Joe Cobra world.
Okay.
Snake
and
monsters.
I was just wondering, what is the logic behind the Snake Men?
That's how I made it make sense. I'm like, of course I can buy this. Like Cobra would have these guys working for them. I have to do that.
So what is your head canon? Like, what is the lore in your head?
It's like a big universe, and anyone can stop by, have a drink, blow up stuff, whatever they want to do.
But you don't. Okay, so you don't mix scales, correct?
Not for people, no, but robots I can.
Robots, obviously
Monsters.
Snake Men, but those are monsters, right? So, what about like Godzilla and stuff? Do you collect any of that stuff?
No.
Really? Be like
never. No interest. I like the monsters. They're really cool, but no, never went down that road. Yeah. No aliens.
Wow, you did some interesting stuff. Like your head can, and you're so nope. Like you're so sure of yourself.
Yeah,
that's what I like. Like you're so sure. Like nope. $50 is what I spend, and that's where it ends. Like we roll over like my minutes for my my sprint.
Right.
I didn't use long distance, and when I did, I let my parents know we're going to do 4 minutes, so I could harass the Contra designer. I'm still so blown away by that. Like you're a 10-year-old kid that's like, hey, look at this phone number on the back of the box. It's an 800 number. I should call them. And as a kid, you're probably thinking they're just sitting there waiting to answer phone calls.
Yeah. Which they were. That was the weird part about it. Like, they were totally ready to have a conversation with me. Like sometimes those conversations would go 30 minutes.
And what kind of stuff would they talk about? Like, I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but you must still remember some of these conversations.
It was usually like, what are you guys working on? Tell me about this game. I would say like, hey, there's this stage, I get up to, sometimes this happens in the stage, or, do you know what happens here? Or it would just be like talking, like what games are good? What tips can you give me?
Ed wants to know if you want to complain to Crick. He loves the Crazy World headcanon. And he is in New York, so he's towards Buffalo, but and I can vouch for him. Mm-hmm. Though he did say he was looking for a keyboard player for his band, but that's a whole side note. So before we wrap it up, I gotta ask. I mentioned at the beginning, you are someone who almost always comments on almost every single classic video that I do. And if you don't know what the classic videos are, I go back and I review the G.I. Joe stuff. Tell me about some of these stories. How do you remember these stories about these different figures? Like you remember getting stuff, what you did with certain stuff. How do you remember some of these, and what are some of the ones that stick out the most for you?
I have one of those memories that certain parts of my life I could just remember, like moments and smells and very specific things. Like going back to when I was like 2 years old. Like I don't know why. And I guess G.I. Joe was kind of sort of a important, well, even like video games too. I don't know. I just have like that type of recall for certain things. But then certain things I can't remember, especially stuff from yesterday. But I don't know why that is, but I think I think you covered some of them already because I only collected G.I. Joe like for like 2 years. So
Yeah.
it kind of dropped off after that. But like the Lady J figure was a big one. The Zartan figure was a big one. The Dreadnoks. I think Snake Eyes, the second Snake Eyes, that was like that was pretty big finding those. Those are like the top when I found those. My favorite stories.
And I asked, like, go in there, like, go look at them, and you'll see all these stories that you have. Which now I just thought about it. Wait a minute. Your sister's last name is not the same last name you have.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's
Or
married.
okay, so that was okay. So all right, it just dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, that is not the name that I see you say on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to out you or anything. You're like, oh, I should have done this. So, is there anything you're looking forward to getting? Any video games? Anything that you're like, I can't wait for this?
No, I'm not the type to get too excited over things. If I
Really?
get it, I get it. If not, oh well.
You're so nonchalant about stuff. Yet you've done like all this. You've done all this crazy
Well,
stuff.
that's
Like,
that's probably why I've done and seen so much that it's hard to really get too excited about anything.
what do you mean? Like, you talked like you were a kid talking to like video game designers.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Clint Jorgensen wants to know, when you got Quick Kick, did the heavens open?
I'm not sure I know the reference.
I don't either.
I like Quick Kick though. I thought he was fun. He didn't have shoes. It was good. Quick Kick was relevant because I was learning Taekwondo at the time. So I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, here's another guy that maybe I do karate too.
You're hitting like all the points of like that someone, a young kid this age would be like, this is the perfect girl. But back then, it was like everything that a kid would not be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean like you also said you like I wasn't really interested anyway.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I love this. Anyway, thank you. I don't. Is there anything else? Like, I didn't put it in your social media on because I kind of asked you if you wanted me to. Though I think people can find you if they look at my Instagram.
They could find me. They just won't find much because I don't post a whole lot. So,
Yeah.
if they're gonna follow me hoping that they're gonna find some exciting things, I think they're gonna be pretty disappointed.
Well, the Toys R Us, like the picture that you have some nice pictures. I was really impressed, and then like to hear the story about like how you're just like, I think it's interesting that that you and your boyfriend or significant other will just kind of build stuff and then that's it. Like you're not doing it to take pictures. You're just you're bored. Am I right to assume you don't have children?
No children. No.
So obviously you didn't have that like I have to buy these for my kids and you're just living the life of creating your own headcanon,
Mm-hmm.
but not documenting it. That's crazy.
No.
Yes, that is the giraffe. That is Roman. That's making all kinds of noise.
I can hear him.
Yeah, my time to get up and make noise. Everyone needs to know that I'm around. He's not as needy as he was. For a while there, he was, and during a live stream, it was like right away, and it was like, wait a minute, I literally just let you out, so you wouldn't do this.
I think I've seen that happen.
Oh yes, he's something else. So I don't know. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Well, what got you into making these videos? Because I saw that you were doing some like, we do martial arts videos in the beginning, or then you did some skating ones.
No martial arts.
Or maybe it was like at the gym, you were doing workout, right?
Yeah, I had all kinds of ideas. I had no idea what YouTube. I mean, I know what YouTube was, but I had this idea. I'm like, I'm just gonna put everything I do. I'll put skateboarding. I'll put some working out. I'll put some of my toys up. And that's when you kind of realize like, not everyone wants to see everything. And it was after I started like doing reviews, it became more. I just started with the Walmart stuff. I had the stuff and I started comparing them. There was really no big deal. I didn't see anyone else really doing it. And when the classified came out, I wasn't on board right away. But the one thing that I looked for, and I didn't know anything about the toy industry, was my big thing was I don't see anyone comparing the two, but I could see stylistic cues that they took from Roadblock version 2, obviously Destro and Snake Eyes, and I would compare them and look at them all. And I did a few of those. You could see how bad they were. You go back to those early, especially the classified videos. You'll see me like walk into frame. I didn't know I could cut. I knew nothing. All right, like I look at it, it's like, how come no one was like, dude, we can't see the fucking figure, dude. Like, you're half a mile away. And then I started reviewing other stuff, and I enjoyed it, and I always wanted to have my face on there so people knew who I was. It creates a connection with people. And I still stand by that. Other people don't. Like B's Battleground, he doesn't. And, there's some other guys, they don't. They want to review the figure. And that's great. But I always wanted to do that. And it was, honest to God, it was my buddy Greg, who I met collecting. And he was the one, he was like, you should just try and get monetized. Because he was letting me borrow stuff to review, and it's kind of when I started taking it serious and was like, well, let's see if I can actually get this to support this hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to have a $50 budget, or I don't have to worry about coming out of, my pocket of paying, mortgages and car payment and child support, and all that other shit that we hate paying. And yeah, after a while, I started to really enjoy it. I know people it is exhausting at times, and I put a lot of time and work into it. And one of the reasons why I'm so quick to do a review is not only to just be as early as possible, but because I hate. That's why I asked you, like, don't you hate like having toys that aren't open? I hate sitting looking at a toy, especially one that I've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. I need to get it open. So if I'm going to review it, and my style is to do it from firsthand, so you have to put that camera up, and it can be exhausting at times, but it's fun and I enjoy it. But that's really what got me into it, was just trying to compare the two. Mm-hmm. The Hiss was the big one, because the Hiss back seat is different, or the Hiss seat is different than the original, because the legs and the 4-inch figures are longer, so they had to cut the back seat out.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that until I saw
And
your video.
that was when I started noticing that even though they're the same molds, there's different cues to it. But you go look at that Fun School police vamp that I have.
Mm-hmm.
When you remove the sticker, it has the exact same key code to drop the Stinger missile rack or the vamp gun rack on it. They still
That's pretty
have the
cool.
exact same key.
Mm-hmm.
But like the newer versions, they don't. Like the newer versions, they're keyed differently because that mold is actually different.
Oh, like the Hasbro one or the
Yeah. So like, let's say you go to like the 25th anniversary one, like that mold is a little bit different, and the gun is different. But those Fun Schools are the exact same as what we had in the 80s.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I think that one has a tire on it. So there's like one that has a tire, one had a sticker over it. Or actually the race, the race Doom Buggy Funko School one, it has like has a tire on it. This one
I've seen the tire one, yeah.
Yeah, so once you take the sticker off, it's keyed the exact same. So you can put the Stinger missile rack on it, you put the Vamp gun rack on it. The Vamp Mark II, like it's all the same. They haven't changed at all. Hasbro has made so much money off that mold, or Fun School, whoever stole it.
Right. I think that's more what happened.
It's funny you think like that. I don't know if you can still. I bought that thing for like $15. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think they're $15 anymore.
No, they're not when I checked.
But it's like here they're making these little Vamp vehicles, and it's like there's no figures being made. I mean, there are now, but you know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I bought it, there really weren't any. So it's it's one of those. It's just kind of funny when you think about it, but they're still like humping around.
You're familiar with 3D Joe's, right? Of course.
Yes.
Carson did a really good interview with one of the production guys from Hasbro.
Yeah.
He posted it recently, and that guy talked all about the molds and like the process and how they ended up in places like that. It was really fascinating.
Really?
Yeah.
That's something I should go watch. I don't watch a lot with Carson for some reason. And I met him. He's a super nice guy. Ed right here. He'll we use Carson as our fill-in moderator because he looks similar to Matthew Matson. And since Matthew won't go to Joe Fest 2 years in a row, we've just had Carson fill in. It's like the weirdest thing. Like that was like they literally just let the Tony. We're like, hey, could you go ask Carson if you could take a picture as our moderator? Like it's the only time we talked to him last year. And it's like, man, we have issues. We have issues, that's for sure. But no, that's how I got into it. I wasn't looking to do something, and like I said, I was gonna mix and match everything, and that's when you're just kind of doing things for yourself. But once it got shifted over to be like it's a toy channel, and you watch more and more stuff about creating a YouTube channel, creating a brand, you don't want to mix and match. Some people might want to see my skateboarding from time to time, but eventually, if I was constantly posting skateboarding stuff, you're either going to get new people in that are skateboarders that are going, "Oh, what's the rest of this crap?" And then you get people that want toy reviews, GI Joe, and they're like, "Why is all this skateboarding on here?" It's not a. But if you're just, hey, this is my thing, those variety channels don't normally do that well. I wish they did.
It's a lot of work that you put into it.
I do. Yeah. And thank you.
I always like your channel because you have a way about the way you talk about things, a very bluntness, which I can relate to as someone who grew up in New York. And I actually, when I first started watching your videos, I'm like, this seems like someone I would have known growing up. He seems like someone like from my area or something. So I had to look you up. I'm like, where is this guy from? And I think one of your videos you mentioned, and I was like, oh, okay, he's not from New York or anything, but you have that kind of like presence about you.
I've never heard that am very blunt. That's never come.
Yeah.
I'm just, again, for me, I have learned over the years that you can be blunt and not be a dick. You can also be a dick and be very blunt. You can. You don't have to. Like, that's one of the biggest things, and I've learned that over the years. I don't feel the reason. I don't feel any need to blow smoke up people's asses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the need. There's so many guys that lie and they tell lies on here because they're gonna get clout. They'll get more views and people. Oh, and then if half that shit comes, when they lie about something, and then it comes true, then they tell everyone. But they always seem to forget the stuff they got wrong. And I've always thought, like, lying seems very exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
To remember the lie, to remember who you lied about,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that lie fits into real life. Like, I'm sorry, that seems exhausting. I don't have time for that. And again, I'm glad I'm glad you noticed. And there are some people that really like that about what I do, and then there's other people that don't. And
Yeah,
you know,
I could see that.
and to me, I've always said, like, hey, if you don't like someone, just move on. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes I need to practice things I say myself. But the YouTube's a big world. Like, we all don't have to like each other. It's a huge playground. I don't have to. I get stuck. There are people that will send me stuff of people that I don't like because, like, hey, you got to see what they said. And next thing you know, those people are in my algorithm. Matthew, I'm looking at you. And I'm like, I don't want this person in my algorithm, but 4 people have sent me a video they did. And I really don't care. But now they're stuck in my algorithm for the next 3 weeks till YouTube realizes, hey, he's not watching.
Mm-hmm.
But do you see yourself doing anything else on YouTube? Or like, do you feel
Oh
like
yeah, definitely. If I lose my job, that's probably the first thing I'll be doing.
Yeah.
When AI takes over my job,
if you stay employed and you're able to pay your bills,
yeah.
do you see yourself going back and trying to create anything? Do you have anything in mind that you want to do?
Well, right now I'm working on this big play motion with my G.I. Joe universe. I'm writing a script. But
So
that said, was that?
So, like, how long of a video are you looking at?
Oh, it's going to be like an ongoing series. I'm working into like 3 seasons maybe ahead. The problem is actually getting this done and getting the thoughts from here into like a paper or something is very challenging to find the time to do that.
So are you like writing a script and then going and recording, or
I'm writing ideas and then writing a script and then playing with the toys and then doing the voiceover.
So are you doing it as like a stop motion or like?
No, it's all hand played. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like Moss Man. He's being moved around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, which is much. And again, I'm not saying it's easy. Much easier than stop motion, because I did a stop motion of like 13 pictures, and I'm like, holy shit!
I don't have the patience.
Yeah, like that was.
I tried.
Yeah, that was. Praise those people, because that is amazing. When you do stop motion, that's 30 seconds. I did like, I think 8 seconds, and it was like 13 pictures and not the greatest. And you're like, wow, that's hard. Todd C asks, is Punk gonna voice a Joe? Maybe one of the females, because
I could use actors who work for nothing
for free.
Yeah.
Well, I have to make it at least as much as I pay my moderators. So I think you got the right pay scale. In all honesty, like, if you needed something, you let me know, and I'd be more than happy.
I'll keep it in mind
to come up with a voice. And if you don't, I won't be offended by it either.
I can only use that voice changer so many times to get different voices.
Are you doing all the voices yourself, or is your?
Well, that's kind of going to be the plan, I think. Yeah.
Really? What about your boyfriend?
He'll do some too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, again, if you needed something, I would be. I don't know how you do it, but I'd be more than happy to help you out in any way that you need. And if not, like I said, I won't be like, damn, I really wanted to work for free. um, it's funny. Certain things like you'll see all the people that come out, how much they're willing to help, right until it's time to get the help, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm busy that day." It's like when all the like every friend that, "Hey, I'll help you move if you okay." Hey, if you need to pick something up, I'll help you. And then when you call them, like, yeah, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you never wanted to help.
Exactly. But no, yeah, that's interesting that you're gonna, and you want to be a whole series.
That's the vision. I have a lot of notes. I have a lot outline, but I'm almost 3 years in and I've made very little progress. So
the good thing about it is though that with an action figure, they don't age.
it's
So
true.
It's not like you're filming a movie and it's going to take 4 years to film, and it's like, well, that 4-year-old kid that I hired, I go back to The Walking Dead and it was like, all right, dude, Carl aged around 10 years in what was supposed to be like 550 days. And nobody seemed to say no one said a word as we watched him go through puberty in a year and a half. But that's the difference between, an action figure, a comic book. They can stay young forever or they can stay old forever. But you have that advantage. How far have you gotten in it? I'm interested.
Just the note part. No dialogue yet. I had a script and I threw it out, so I have to start over.
So now you're starting all over.
Yeah, but I have these like ideas, so it's just a matter of taking the ideas and then writing dialogue to go along with it.
Do you have voices already made up for specific characters?
Not just well, I base everything on the cartoon, so I have the cartoon voices in my head.
But you gotta take some of your own. Like this guy here, right? Like this guy will always, for here and forever out. Oh no, Ted Darklaw, he made my voice. And if Mossman ever shows up in any type of cartoon movie and he doesn't sound like that, we're all gonna be so pissed off about it because we have come to accept that Mossman sounds like Ted Darklaw. All right. Well, when you are ready to do that, I want to know so I can promote it because I want people to see it. And I hope we don't have to wait like 6 more years for it.
Yeah, we'll see if we're all alive by then. At the rate we're going.
Well, see, now what you're going to have is people hounding you about it. So now maybe you'll get some motivation. I'm literally making up words.
Well, I think that's the whole thing. I don't even think this thing I would make, no one's gonna watch it. So that's kind of like, it's kind of like when I would write music. I'd write music, and then how many people listen to it? Not much. So
okay, so here's what I can tell you: you can make the video, and then you could do a commercial for me, and then everyone will think that it's mine. Like everyone thinks Mossman is my thing, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's from the Adventures of Skeletor, done by Hella Dope Toys, done all by Ted. There's 3 videos. Like Ed and I have talked about it before. I'm like, Mossman's not my thing. I don't do the voice. I just imitate Ted doing an imitation of what he thinks Mossman would sound like.
Wait, was Mossman not in the cartoon?
Very little, I believe.
Okay.
I should probably look him up and actually hear what his voice sounds like, but it's not that. It's not that. At least I don't think that it is. But someone said that he is in it. But how great would it be just to hear? And it would be so great if Mossman is in the new Master of the Universe movie, and that's his voice, or like they try and imitate that voice. Like that guy's like, I've been watching these channels, and there's someone that's I'm going to try and do the Mossman voice. or maybe the special director's cut. Matthew says he definitely doesn't sound like Ted. And Clint says, just remember to turn the camera on and you will get it. I don't know what that means.
Not sure.
But no, seriously, once you start doing it, and again, like you said, we all have things going on in our lives. But you don't have little people to worry about. So you've eliminated that already.
Thank goodness, yeah.
Oh, they're not that bad. But no, now I'm interested, and I know everyone else is. So now we're gonna hound you on it.
Mm.
So I'm gonna send everyone over to your Instagram.
The pressure's on.
And we're gonna different voices in it.
Mm-hmm.
Clint says if your camera is left off, it won't record.
It's true.
I don't know. I think you knew that, right? I have a feeling
It's almost if I've experienced that once before and he knows.
I think he's done it too. I think we've all done it.
I think we've all done it.
Yeah, I think we've all done that.
And I think we've all done it maybe last week on like a Tuesday.
Oh, this is like fresh in someone's mind, isn't it? I had a He-Man, so my He-Man reviews never did that well, and I did. What goes on top of Gray Skull?
Wind Raider, or
no,
Wing
not
Raiders?
Wind Raider. No,
the Talon.
Talon.
Mm-hmm.
Point Dread.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and it did really well, and it actually dropped before I went to Florida, and it was one of my best reviewed He-Man reviews, right? And then it was like maybe 6 months later, 9 months, I forget what it was, and I was looking through my videos, and I was looking at, because all the He-Man ones would do like 150 if I was lucky, 200. Every now and then one would hit like 500. And I was like, man, I remember that. I'm like, where was that Judge Dredd at? It was like at 900. And I went looking for it. And I can't find it. And then I happened to be on the Clubhouse and we got talking. I go, I can't find the Dredd video. And I go, I know that I did it. And if I remember correctly, it was Cobb Webb. I think he goes, I remember seeing you do it. I somehow deleted it, and I have no idea how. I mean, I deleted it off YouTube, and you can't just hit delete and the thing goes away. And the only thing I can think of is I was extremely tired, and I hit it. And it was one of those ones where you kind of like, when you're dozing off and you somehow hit it, and then you just wake up and you hit it, and it was gone. But I'm like, the fuck is that thing gone?
Do you have backups? Do you keep backup of everything?
No. This was long. Like this was. No, I should. I don't really care too much about my reviews, per se, because there's a finite amount of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're done. Maybe some of the stuff that I've done that I should have more that I actually put time into, I should probably back up, but I haven't. I'm bad.
Do you ever think like someone might approach you one day? Hey, listen, we want to make a compilation of all your reviews and we want to like sell it as a package to somebody. Like we need all like the original format, the raw footage. And then you're going to say, I don't have it because it's only on YouTube. Do you ever think like that?
Nope.
Okay.
Who the fuck would want to do that? Would you have someone in mind? Because I can download it all.
I don't know. Maybe the BBC or something.
It's all done on my phone.
Uh-huh.
And then the phone gets filled up really quickly.
Yeah.
And if you make videos on your iPhone, I don't know if you do or not. So when you make videos on your iPhone and you're using iMovie, once you put it together, then you have to resave it back onto it. So let's say you have an hour's worth of video that you put into one. So all these different clips you put into 1 hour video, then you have to resave it onto your phone. And if you run out of space, it tells you, fuck you, you don't have enough space. And you're like, I do have enough space. And then you have to slowly start deleting stuff. But you can't delete any of the videos because that's what it needs to record off of.
Wait, so are you saying you record everything on your iPhone?
Everything.
Have you ever, this is just an idea, have you ever thought about maybe not buying toys 1 month and maybe get yourself a dedicated camera with like storage?
Okay. That sounds awful. Then I would have to learn a whole new system to edit on.
That's right.
On my, like, and that's what it is. And that's what, and if you know, obviously I don't do a lot of editing. I know how to edit certain things out. And that's what people have come to like about what I do. If I ever got into like producing stuff like how Ted does, not Ted, Ken in Toy Connections, then that's something I would definitely be looking at doing. And or I could always do it on the iPhone, and then I could always transfer it onto a computer. But yeah, that sounds so much.
Well, I'm surprised because I figure anyone with like a decent following like you do, like they've invested in the camera, you know, the mic, the lighting, they have the software, like they do everything.
It's more time for me to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did buy a soundboard and it never worked, so I never tried to get another one because I'm like, I just wasted money on one. It's literally sitting down here. It never worked. I could never figure it out, and the instructions sucked. I guess I could have done more.
I don't know if you ever talked about it, but what's your holy grail toy that if you ever see it anywhere, it's the one you have to buy?
Well, it's not what I have to buy, but my holy grail, because I can't afford it. My holy grail is the Defiant.
It's a pretty good one.
That's one I never had. So there was that, and I always wanted also the mobile command center.
Oh, that's another good one.
I have secured one, so I will be getting that at Joe Fest.
Mm-hmm.
But the so I already have an agreement to get that from somebody. But the Defiant is like $3,000 to $4,000, and that's not even complete.
Isn't that like just the peak of like toy making? Like the amount of engineering that went into that toy?
I have never messed around with one. But
I never either, but I see it at toy shows a lot.
Yes, there's a lot of...
It's mind-blowing how detailed it is.
My ex, her best friend, was going through a divorce. And her husband, he's a little bit older than me, and he was extremely spoiled. And he had everything. He had the Defiant, he had an aircraft carrier. We were going through his boxes one day. All these Transformers, all the He-Man stuff. And my ex and I we're still friends. And she tells me, she's like, Becky is so stupid. She just told me that their house is foreclosed on, and no one has been there for months. Everything is sitting in the garage, and they have to the end of the week to get things out. And she doesn't even talk to Mike. And I go, tell her right now I will give her $1,000 to clean out. I'll give her $1,000 to clean out the garage. And anything, I'll take anything. And anything I want and anything else I'll get rid of. And she's like, no, she can't do that to Mike. I'm like, they're just going to let it go. And from what I understand, they just gave it all fucking to the people. So when they bought it as a foreclosure, they didn't go clean anything out. And I know some of the shit that was in there. And I'm like, dude, I would give her $1,000. I probably would have done more. It was right after tax season, so I had the money.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, $1,000, and I'll clean everything out. But she wouldn't do it. She's like, well, that's his stuff, but they didn't go and get it. So It's all gone.
What do you think when you say gone? Like they threw it out, or do you
It
think
went
they
to
still-
whoever bought the place.
But you think this stuff is still there?
No, those people probably threw it in the garbage.
Oh,
Or whoever bought it, that husband walked in and went, oh.
yeah, right.
Now he's like he's probably watching the show right now going, hey, I bought that house.
Gold mine.
I bought that house in Clinton Township. I know exactly. No, that's my holy grail. That's the only thing. And again, I think if I didn't have the flag, it would probably be that, just because the size and the scale of it. But to get an actual Defiant, though, I don't think I'm ever going to have the $4,000 to $5,000 to get one in a good working position or good working condition. There was one at Joe Fest that was in pretty decent condition, and they wanted I think $750 for it, or they were willing to go. And I only know because somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, I asked them about this, and they said they do $7,000 because they didn't want to take it home." But then I talked to some people, and I was like, "I can't do it." But then there were some people that were like, they're like, "You have to be careful because if you were gonna drive the 12 hours to get home, those little clips and everything sitting in the back, if it's not packaged properly, the stuff will break on it."
Wow.
And I didn't go and look at it, because I'm like, I have the money, and technically I had the money, but you still I don't really want to spend $1,000 on anything at that point. I didn't want to make it back to Michigan. But that's my holy grail. Maybe one day. Do you have anything that you have to have? Do you have any grail? You don't seem
No. I always wanted the Terradrome, but unless it's in front of me for really cheap, it's got to be under $50. So
yeah, you might want to hold on and not buy any toys for maybe a year, and then that budget that rolls over.
That's a lot of rollover.
That's another one that they talk about how the clips break off really easily.
Really?
And I know on mine, I have one clip on the front of the actual frame that's broken. So you kind of have to figure out a way to engineer it to stay up. I think I actually have to flip the piece around and it will stay up there.
I would be devastated if that happened. A piece breaks.
Some of that stuff had broken before it was valuable. You know what I mean? So some of that stuff had broken. I mean, my Terradrome's still in decent condition, but there are some things that are broken that it's like, and even to remove the legs and stuff, because there's a leg that comes down on two of them. That plastic is so brittle that you'll just snap it. You'll snap it off, change. Because I think I have one that's broken, but I have a few extra doors but the little pieces on the bottom, I know I have one of those where it clips into. One of those is broken on it. Every time, every time you move something, you're like, "Oh, come on, not today, not today, Jesus, not today." But you can get a Terradrome.
I just see them a lot. Yeah.
I don't think they're not as expensive as a Flag or a Defiant.
No, they're not. Right.
And you can start that's one of those. Once you get that base in that frame, that's when you can start just kind of picking and choosing and buying lots that have different doors. Now, getting that stupid AVAC figure, good luck on that. Somehow I lost him. That thing's $100 in decent condition, not even in mid condition, which really bugs me because I actually still have the parachute that he comes with. It's not an actual parachute, but the parachute backpack. That's the thing that everyone loses. I'm like, I just need the figure. That's it. And they're like $100. I'm like, I don't
Nope.
want $100. I probably should have, because the money's already gone, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much, Steph. I had a great time.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you were able to jump on here. I'm glad you were willing to.
I'm glad we made it happen finally.
Yeah, again, like, you know who I mean, you knew what I look like. I only knew you from the different stories. And again, look for her in all my classic reviews. Watch what she's saying. Like, just, she always has some sort of story. You always have some sort of comment. And like I said, you're not just like, hey, great review. And that's nice that people do, but it's one of those things where it's nice to get some actual interaction. And for the record, action figures sold separately. Had I bought that AVAC figure, I would not have been able to buy the different the different displays that I bought from you. So, so like I said, the money got spent. But yeah, that's that was what I think it was the last thing that I bought leaving. He was right there, and his display was awesome. And as soon as I said, dude, that's no effects. They like no effects on all these like cool punk bands, and not Ice-T, but Body Count. Ice-T and Body Count. I was like, I gotta have this.
Yep.
And then I let Ed negotiate prices for me. And you did. You definitely did, man. So thank you. But Steph, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me on your staycation. I know this is the bright spot of your staycation, or as the officers would say, your gaycation. You ever watch The Office?
Yeah, I don't remember that. No.
You don't remember when Oscar had, he got time off because Michael kept like saying I don't say homophobic stuff, but he kept saying stuff about gay, about Oscar being gay.
Yeah. We were just talking about that one at work.
Yeah, so he was able to talk them into like 3 months of like vacation, and when he comes back, Stanley goes, "How was your gaycation?" And that one's just stuck. But I'm so glad that you were able to join me. And again, if you do need voices, and again, I'm not one of those people that's like, hey, put me in it. I'm just saying. And somebody else referred me just so. But if you need help, let me know. I'd be more than happy to. And I will charge you just as much as I pay my moderators. Nothing. So anyway, you guys, you can find her on Instagram if you follow the link. I don't think you really want it on here. That's the only reason why I didn't put it on there. So before Matthew or Ed goes, you can't even promote her. Like, she said that she really didn't want it there. So that's the reason why I did it. So Steph, thank you very much. Everyone else, I will be back Monday. I promise you. I just had a lot going on, and I just needed a break so I could record doing something else. But I wasn't going to miss this one for sure. So anyway, thank you very much. Go check her out on Instagram. If you are interested, you can find it from mine. And again, if you're not on my Instagram, then you're probably not following me anyway or going to go and do anything, right? All right. Let me see if I can find it. Take care.
Have a good night.